I hate when water goes up the nose.
Oh, that's the worst. One of the worst sensations.
Yeah.
Or like when it gets stuck in your ear after a swim.
Yeah. I love it when it goes up other people's nose.
You sadistic fuck.
It makes me happy. I remember I was like probably 5 or 6. And it was like I want to say pre nursery, and I was eating lunch, and obviously we have this like whole class eats lunch together, so it's probably 20, maybe even 30 kids, right? All toddlers. I'm eating my food, mom's food, yummy food. I'm enjoying. I'm having a good time. I watch across. There's this girl sitting. She's eating her food. She's got some noodles, right? I'm like, oh shit. Noodles were not like a big thing in my house. Because my mom was very like keen on like, okay, no healthy food, no junk food. You know, you gotta
Noodles
balance
can be
it out.
healthy.
No,
No?
no,
I
noodles
guess
are
like
not.
instant noodles type of thing,
Yeah,
like a ramen type thing.
yeah, exactly. It
Just-
was
yeah,
like
okay.
Indian. It's called Maggie.
Yeah, I love Maggie. Maggie's great.
But it's not healthy.
No, I bet it's not.
Not at all. And then this girl was having it, and I was just like, wow, that's awesome. You know, she's having Maggie. I want to have Maggie. And while looking at her, I just see her nose just run, and just a huge blob of mucus dropped into it. And I noticed, buddy of mine noticed,
No.
the teacher noticed, she didn't notice.
Oh.
And then she just goes and proceeds to take a
Oh,
bite.
honey.
And I was like,
Oh,
dude.
man.
And yeah, I think since then, I think I do have that sadistic thing in me, which is like, oh, I do find some sort of enjoyment
Yeah.
from
Other people's suffering.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Schadenfreude is the German term for that.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, it's the term for getting enjoyment out of other people's suffering, which is it's a common thing. And
Yeah.
we all have that a little bit. But you like creating chaos too.
Yeah.
You like just like starting a little bit of a fire somewhere and seeing what happens.
100%. Every opportunity I get. And it's never like something that's, oh, this is serious and it's gonna be like harmful. I'm not like
No, never.
never going in.
Because you're a really good person. That's what really threw me off about you in the first couple years I knew you. Still to this day, I don't know if I'm over it, but it took me years to get over the Monopoly thing.
Yeah.
First few years, it was one of the first experiences I had with you too, and you did that. And ever since then, I was just like, I was very invested into that Monopoly game.
Absolutely, I think everybody's invested in a Monopoly game.
But that was the most proficient display of mastery that I had ever been able to engage in with that game, and I had been working it for like 3 hours, and there were like 12 people involved, and I finally got it. And then I find out you've just been slipping people money under the table.
Dude, 500s.
Yeah, man.
500.
Drove me
Like,
up a
dude,
wall.
take this money. Yeah.
Drove me up a wall.
Because I think that was my first, like, for Vancouver's first road trip doing with Victoria Squad. Right? And I don't think we'd ever worked together before.
No.
So this is the first time. I think it was like Team Bond. I stayed up like all night that night.
Did you?
Yeah, I took like a speaker and a blanket, and I climbed up the Airbnb.
No way.
Yeah, saw the sunrise.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I found like a water pipe, so I just like lied down there, and I was pretty sleepy too, so I just lied down there, listening to music. And what was worse was, I got up and I was like, you know what happens when you're like lying down and you kind of fall asleep and you immediately wake up and you're like, oh, dude. And so that happened to me, and I was like, oh, I should like go back, you know? I don't want to be eaten by a wild animal here.
Probably not.
And I started walking, and I realized that the music is going further and further away from me.
Oh, left
So
the
I-
speaker.
Left my phone.
Yeah.
Right? And the speaker. And so then I went back, and only because the music was playing, I was able to track it back again.
Yeah, no shit, eh?
Yeah, so I was like, oh, it's close by. Nice.
It sucked on the next day.
Yeah.
That was a good road trip.
Yeah,
It was a good road
great.
trip, I think. It was a weird little Airbnb that we stayed at. I mean, it was a big house, but it was so remote in that like
Mm-hmm.
mountain, those
Yeah.
dirt roads, and it was like,
Perfect place for, I think, like, I don't know. I want to say I want to go there in the summer, but I think it would be more nice to go in. No, fall is too rainy, but just like, when it just kind of starts getting a little bit cool and colder.
yeah, those
Uh,
first couple cold weeks at the end of the summer,
hmm
where it's still sunny and it's like warm in the sun, but you know the fall is coming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it drops under like 20 for the first like 17 degrees or something. It's like there's a little nip in the air. Yeah. So I fucked up my morning routine.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh yeah,
So
shaving.
I shave, right? And so when I
Mhm.
shave, I have just an electric shaver,
Yeah.
and it's got an adjustment dial on it. And so I choose my adjustment and I shave. And then when I hit my lip, I take off the, guard,
Thingy. Yeah.
right? So then I hit my mustache, right? But
Ah.
then I put it back together and I put it in my cabinet. But like 4 times now.
Yeah.
When I do that, it doesn't adjust, like it's not fully connected. So the next time I go and shave and I adjust my dial and I put it set to, my length,
Mm.
it's not on. And so it's just on complete zero.
Zero.
And I just
Yeah.
go right into my shave
No.
and I shave off a whole portion of my face.
Oh.
And so that happened to me again right over here. This one's not as bad. Of the
Yeah.
4 times I've done it, this is by far the best. Like
I didn't even notice.
yeah,
that something like that
I don't
happened.
think many people
Yeah.
have today, and so that's good. But I had one like 4 weeks ago, and I just right up the side, so
Yeah.
all this was gone. I had one on the trip where I went right here. This was a really bad one because I shaved all of this up over my chin, and that lasted easily 3 weeks. Yeah, not fun when that happens.
Not at all. It happened to me last year in October. I was trying to grow a mustache, and I don't know. I'm on my way to puberty. I'm like almost there.
You
Uh,
look great with a beard.
That's what I've been told, but I personally don't like body hair. Like I don't like
Huh.
facial hair. I don't like
Interesting.
body hair anywhere.
On just you or other people too?
Other people too.
Yeah,
like
interesting.
yeah.
Fine, I'll shave. Jesus.
Yeah, come on, do it now. That's my preference to like be clean, like shaved all the time. But then it's a lot of work,
Yeah.
and I've been told that I look a lot mature when I have like a
Yeah.
beard.
Yeah, it
But-
fills you out.
Uh,
It like adds like
yeah, but I have
muscle
a
to you.
really small face, so whenever I have like facial hair, like really big or long hair, I guess, it makes my face look much smaller. And yeah, I'm straight out of Skid Row then. I
Do you
look.
think so? I feel like it almost makes your face bigger because it adds on that width and that.
It hides
Girth.
the features a
Yeah.
lot. It does add to a little bit of the symmetry because I do have like a really crooked nose.
Yeah.
So it kind of supports with that. But overall, I also feel a lot nicer and confident when I don't have like a beard growing.
Interesting. I don't know. I shaved my beard off like a year ago, 8 months ago, and I did not like. I really
Yeah.
wanted to see my cheekbones again, right?
Mm.
Because I had seen a couple of photos, and my like cheekbones were just like really, really pronounced. I was like, oh, that looks good. And I don't have the best beard. I
Mm.
mean, it's very weak in the sides. It doesn't grow in all the way. But I started wearing it to be older in the office when I was like interviewing people and everything,
Yeah.
and I really liked that. Like it helped.
Yeah.
And then I shaved off my beard, and I felt so fucking young.
Yeah.
I was.
It's crazy. The first day you do it after like keeping a beard for a little while, and you're like, I'm a little boy.
Yeah. And that was one of the things I was dating. It was right when I started dating Selene. She was like, she's 30. I was probably 26 at the time.
Last year.
Yeah. It would have been at the start. I would have met. Yeah. So right before I turned 27, right? And so she was 30 or turning 31, I think. And so and one of the first things she said to me when she saw me shave was, "Oh, you look like a little kinder kid." All right, great. Well, it's not staying shaved. I remember. Yeah, I
I'm
hated
gonna steal
that.
her hair and glue it on my face. That's crazy. I don't know which movie has it, but it's Babyface.
Oh,
James
Baby
Franco
Driver?
says-
Wait, oh
no.
no.
I think James Franco says it to somebody, babyface. And I don't know which movie has it. I think he's talking to somebody. Yeah, maybe it's like Pineapple Express or one of those comedy movies, and or maybe Seth Rogen has a nickname for somebody, but it is Babyface, and it's like one of my favorite things to call somebody because
Babyface.
it
Yeah.
really like
That hits.
hits the ego right there, and I think one of my favorite things is to see and find out what ticks somebody, right? And that's where my fun
You
is.
sadistic fuck.
Right? I'm like, okay. I still remember there was this Halloween night, and I was with Emily and Chloe and a bunch of friends, and we had a bowl of chocolates. And I saw like Emily really liked a certain chocolate. So while she was not close to the bowl, I hid all her specific
That's so
chocolates.
fucked up. Nice. And then what happened?
And yeah, and then I went around and gave random people clues on sticky notes on where the chocolates were.
Oh shit.
And yeah, I think it's fun. Just
Did she get him in the end?
yeah, she found all of them. Yeah, total champ. Great sport too, right? But nowadays it's a lot harder, right? It's like, oh, I don't know. Especially when I'm meeting somebody for the first time, it's a lot harder to be like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna mess with this person or not. I don't know how they'll react. So my first steps are always like, okay, I want to see what this person gets triggered by or uneasy by. And because I think most of my life I've just been like more of a person who just like observes.
Yeah.
And not somebody who like talks a lot. So I choose my moments. Okay, like, okay, I'm gonna be silent till I find my moment to strike. And my personal fun out of the whole thing is not lying to the person, but it is lying once or twice enough where they 100% believe that I'm lying, and from that point on, tell them nothing but the truth.
Yeah. And so they're always a little unsure.
I don't trust
And
you.
you know what? You totally have done that because, like, I trust your heart and I trust you, but we'll be doing things every now and then. We'll be in a group or you'll say something and I'll be suspicious. I'll be
sure?
suspect.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I'll see you do this with other people. I'm like, you gotta be careful with this one. Yeah, I like gauging someone's like sense of humor and how well they can take like, not like, a little bit of back and forth banter.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and my dad was telling me about some new people that moved onto the mountains semi recently, and he was trying to get a feel for them and what type of people there were, and he said something about the wife of one of them. He's like, she's a really quiet, kind person, doesn't add too much to the group, but she'll pick on me. She'll like come make fun of me because I think she knows that I like that, and so I'll go back and forth with her a little bit. And so finding like what buttons that get someone a little riled up and really engaged, and like get them feeling good. That's always really fun.
Yeah, I think that's a lost start, man. Just banter and like teasing each other. I think it's so hard to like, especially as you grow up and you're in like with adults all around. You don't know what flies. You don't know what doesn't. I always find it interesting when I first meet people. I also find it really funny when people can't read a room. Right, and they're like, "Yeah, this joke worked here, so I'm gonna try this again here." And it's like, "No, dude."
And sometimes I'll read the situation really wrong. I just like there was one. Did you ever meet Sook? Do you know Sook?
No.
No, we had this guy working with us for a little while, and he, he'd been with us for weeks, so he knows who we are as people. He knows we're kind, supportive, honest, all of these things, right? And he laughs around. We were always joking with each other, and he mentions his sister, right? I forget what context this was in. I was just like, I made a comment like, she's single or something like that. Or, how old is she? And he's like, no, man, no. And he got really like, he really closed up on that. He's
Yeah.
like, that wasn't cool, man. I was like, and it was like such an innocuous comment, right? It was very indirect.
Yeah.
It was very just, oh, she's single. You know, it wasn't like, oh, I want to, you know.
Yeah.
And it was so every now and then, you know, it'll just hit someone the wrong way, and it's like, there are certain lines you don't cross with someone.
Yeah.
And that's always one that it's like, I think it's important to recognize every now and then, like when you see I think we all kind of have red lines, right? And when you find out what that line is, you never go near it again.
Yeah.
You respect that. It's like
No,
everything else,
you
no,
double down.
no.
It's always
No.
funnier when you double down,
No.
and then you make your apologies later.
It may be in like after about 3 months, you test the waters again.
She's just a grown up, yeah.
Oh yeah, you were at her birthday. She 18 now. yeah. And see if they loosen up to it a little bit. Because if they do, then that's when it's wonderful. Because if you have someone's red line, but they grow to be okay with it because they know you mean well, but it hits them just a little bit harder. So it's like, you know, if you really you want to give them a little bit of a jab. Yeah.
I'm very similar to that in case of mom jokes, because I have a great relationship with my mom, and in India it's insane because most of like vulgar words are based on like, oh, mother and sister, feminist society. And the whole idea is, oh, whatever you say, it's not real, right? And so it just becomes like a casual vocabulary thing growing up. But out here, some people are offended by like mom jokes. So
gotta be careful.
Yeah. So I always make it a rule, and I always wait for the other person to make the mom joke first, and be like, "That's on you now. That's on you."
Family jokes are in line. Well, I remember you asked me once, but I had known you for like a year and a half, and I don't know. I forget how it came up, but you know I have a bad relationship with my mother, and so you had asked me one day. It's like, hey, are you okay about these jokes? And
I think I
like,
remember doing that. I was like, I wanted to make sure, because things can like I don't know, trigger something, whatever. So just nowadays you have to be like super safe. And
you want to be respectful of people, right? You like joking around when the other person's having fun with it is good, but if they're not having fun with it, like if they're leaving that interaction feeling bad or like even laughing through pain, like I don't want that. You don't want to make someone feel bad.
Exactly.
You know,
right? There's a good balance.
Causing like the Schadenfreude thing, like getting a little sense of an enjoyment or a laugh out of like, you know, someone stepping in a puddle off the road or something, and it's like,
or somebody falls down when you pull their chair.
No.
Not the same thing.
So appreciating or finding the humor in like a sad setting or you know, something that happened to someone by happenstance, but causing that pain is a very different, you know, type of person. I don't want to cause pain. I definitely don't want to cause pain.
Yeah. I wonder what brings people to like cause pain. That's one of my always like and I hate that now it's been really normalized that, oh, it was like their childhood was bad and that's what pushed them to the edge. But I don't even want to talk about like, you know, like serial killers, because that's an extreme.
Oh yeah.
But this is the average Joe, you know, who just like goes and be like, yeah, fuck this guy. You know, I'm gonna like rob him, or I'm not gonna pay him money. He's like worked the whole month, and this boss is like, yeah, I'm not gonna pay him money this month. You know what gets somebody that okay push of being like, oh yeah, this is totally cool thing to do?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of things. I mean, I think for one, people just become desensitized over the course of their life to like slightly more innocuous things, or things grow. You know, you maybe start with like accidentally or stealing a lollipop or something as a kid because it was there, you know, not leaving a tip one day or like dining and dashing, and then it just grows. But I also think we're really good at like justifying behavior and rationalizing, oh, I'll
Mm-hmm.
do it next time. Or if they understood the situation that I was in, they would have been
Yeah.
okay with it, right? And little things like that. I think that there's also people who just like I think for one there's a psychological side of things, like, you know, maybe if it's someone who's making other people feel bad, like push them away before they push me away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hurt them before they hurt me, right? For some people it's a power thing. Some people just like to watch others suffer. I
Yeah.
think some of it is just a sadistic thing, right? And some people are just assholes.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like, some people are whatever their fucking reason is. I remember I was talking to Dan before I came here, and I was talking to him about one of the people he had on his team, and, you know, I spent a week working with this guy and, you know, trying to help him. But I was talking to Dan at the end of it. It's like, I didn't like him. I did not. Almost all of the reps that come through the door, it's like I genuinely invest myself in them. I normally find something that, like,
Yeah.
some of them are a bit harder to spend time with than others
Yeah.
because we just don't vibe, or they're really awkward, or whatever it is, right? Or our personalities don't mesh. But and some I really like. Every now and then I'll meet someone I dislike, and this was someone that I actively disliked by the end of it,
Mm.
just because I really disagreed with, like, the decisions they would make as a person. Like, they actively would instigate things with other people. They would find, just like you said, they would
Mhm.
identify the thing that, like, ticked them off a little bit. They would poke around in a bunch of different places, see what they reacted to, and then he would dig into those, and he would actively try and make people feel bad. And I'm like,
Ah.
that's just a horrible thing to
Yeah.
do.
That's a dick move.
Yeah, you're just being a dick. And then they would lie about their behaviors, and then they would say, oh,
Oh.
I'm going to work hard, and then they don't. And it's just like, on a human level, in like 6 or 7 different ways, I watched him approach the world and approach relationships with other people. It's like, yo,
Yeah.
I just disagree with who you are as a person.
Oh, dude, 100%. I've met people, and it's really weird because there's no way I can explain it, but I hate everything about their existence, and it is.
Whoa, that's a crazy statement.
But it's never justified. It is just like who they are as a person. Everything. It's not even like, oh, this is they're at fault or they did something wrong. But you know that gut feeling you get when you're like, oh, this person is just not a good person,
Yeah.
right? I think it's like, I don't know, in what's a better word, intuition or instinct,
Yeah.
right? Where
Yeah. You
just
can
take
just
a
kind of
call.
pick up well, I remember I got into a long conversation with Mike, and he turned it into like a debate or an argument. Even it felt like it kept escalating. It didn't want to escalate. The whole time I was just here like, I'm just having a conversation, but he was like debating a point. It was like, but we were talking about, like, we had just come from Sedona, right? And there's a ton of these like spiritual hippie people there who are really into like energy and energy vortexes, and, you know, these are people who buy crystals at the fucking shops, and, you know the type,
Yeah.
right? Hippie people.
Yeah, the third moon people.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of this, and, you know, I take it with a grain of salt, um, and he just doesn't buy this energy concept at all. And he was just like taking a very like rigid scientific approach to it, and there's no way to measure it or observe it in XYZ. And I'm like, I used to be much more in that camp, but after doing the job for as long as I did, and like working with people, there were two ways I looked at it. It was like, I don't know, I feel like there is some form of like a sense of um, a form of like subconscious, whether it is purely observational and it is subconscious observation, but you're subconsciously picking up on tangible physical things, you know, observable stimuli, and then that's making you feel a certain way. And so if it's like picking up on the energy of a city or the vibe of a room or whatever those things are, I feel like there is a degree of being able to sense, we'll use the word energy
Yeah.
here.
Social cues.
Yeah, and so it could totally be something like that. And
Yeah.
so, you know, and then we got into a conversation, well, you know, how do dogs sense, you know,
Yeah.
and so you can make the very similar to like how you could talk about like, do animals feel emotion? There's a way to make an argument where they do, and there's
Yeah.
also a way to say it's just like biological or evolutionary, right? So, choose a side and then figure out
Yeah.
what you're comfortable with. But in what you were saying, every now and then, I remember one specifically. It's like there was one. I was crossing the street and I was talking to someone, and I couldn't have seen this guy for more than half a second, right, as he was passing me. But he passed me, and I just got this feeling. I was like, that was a bad individual. But I don't know. Sometimes you can just get that sense of someone where like someone's putting
Yeah.
out this weird, energy. And it's like
I always hate it when it's like a friend of my friend, and I get that energy, and I don't know. I find it really hard. Like if I meet somebody and I don't like them, then that's it.
Yeah.
Like then. So it's like how I also see movies that I'm gonna watch it once. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, then it's really hard for me to justify. This is actually better than what I feel. And it really often happens when I meet like a friend of a friend, and I'm like, oh, I don't really like this person, but obviously I do like my friend, so okay, I'm willing to make that sacrifice. And then like a few months later, my friend would come back to me and be like, oh, that friend I had was a bitch, and I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, wow.
So what changed your mind?
Yeah.
The worst is when it's like their partner,
Oh,
their
dude,
girlfriend or something.
that's such a thin ice.
Yeah. Especially if they've been with them for a few months and it's like your first time meeting with them, so they have an established relationship, and then you just see things. It's like,
yeah, crazy. I think 3 months is a good time period to just like let any relationship take its course, and then after 3 months, nobody can hide their character.
yeah, it's a little harder. I would say maybe even like 6,
Dude,
but
6 is a
three
lot.
you're gonna
Yeah.
weed out a lot
Yeah.
of those things. 6 is when like that puppy dog,
Mhm.
puppy love
The
phase
honeymoon
kind of dies out.
phase,
Yeah,
yeah.
honeymoon phase that
Honeymoon
dies out a
phase.
little bit, and so now you're seeing people.
Yeah.
Now you have 3 months of seeing someone when they're not on guard,
Mm.
and they're just in. So you do all of those same settings and like maybe dates in certain places or social events, or maybe you take a trip, but out of that phase so you can see
Yeah.
them when they're a little less guarded. And so but I agree, like 3 months is a pretty good amount of time to like, who is this, where are things, how do we
What are the
vibe?
traits? Because the crazy part is like nowadays it's all through like apps, right? And so through the apps, you get this idea like, oh, this person loves is so outgoing. All his pictures are like zip lining from a mountain,
Yeah.
right? And you then meet the person, he's like just a couch potato. And those were pictures like from 7 months ago, and then he never likes to go out, or she likes to never go out, and and then you're like stuck, and you're like 3 months later it hits you like, oh shit, this sucks.
Well, I went on a date with someone the other day, and they were telling me, we were, it was a pretty good date, and they were saying, you're very engaging, you ask a lot of questions, and then they were like, and it's just like, sometimes she was saying they go on dates, and it's like they end up across the table from someone, and they're just like silent or like uninterested, or they don't engage, they don't ask questions, and it's just like that blows my mind. But I mean
the benchmark's really low.
I have come to find that there'll be like really really simple things like that's actually a great example. Like they don't ask me questions, right? Or they check their phone a lot at the table, or little things like that, like things that are just like so obvious do's and don'ts you find out other people, or just like being respectful or holding the door, or how was your
in
day.
text everybody's like, yeah, I'm gonna bend you in like 60 positions and blah blah, and then you meet them and they're like,
yeah, it's the little things. Let me know you got home safe, right? Shit like that. It's like, I think that goes a really long way. And there will be like, people will comment on these things in their online dating profiles. I'm like, poor girl, your standards are so low, right? Like, and that's a shame. That's a shame. But I think that's a cultural thing. And I think you could probably also say some things on the other side as well.
Yeah. But I think now that's why I think white people are like done with each other, like boys and girls. So now they're diversifying into like other
Foreign
cultures.
cultures.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about all that.
Yeah. Do you know about like
Or
passport
just like
bros?
other no.
So passport bros are like bros that go to like these Southeast Asian countries. No, it's not Southeast. Maybe a few Southeast Asian
Mm.
countries, but mainly East Asian countries,
Mm.
and get a wife from there
Yeah.
because they've had no luck out here. And they're usually like, 40, 45. And obviously, you find somebody there. For them, it's like, oh, great, I can move across.
Yeah, yeah.
Not saying that obviously some people are actually in love and blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah, but bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, citizenship marriages, I mean, that's a really big one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take one for Canada.
Yo,
Yeah, dude.
how much you offering?
Yeah, dude. I don't know. You can give me $10.
No, I'll save it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Marcus about that one time. Like, dude, I think we should get married.
Walker made the same joke to me the other day about U.S. citizenship.
Yeah.
Because I got mine down there. He was like,
Uh,
I've been getting settled in Canada here, but why am I fucking doing that? I
Yeah.
should have gone for an American girl. Yeah. And then he asked me.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's from here?
No, he's UK.
Oh, UK.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn, UK. I wonder what it is. Because I know it's really rainy out there in the UK.
Similar to here, yeah.
Right? But I just can't imagine, man. I think Irish people are really fun.
Mm-hmm.
English people can be really fun,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they're just drunk.
I would have loved to date an Irish girl when I was like 23,
Yeah.
24. I think that would have been a very fun time. I would
Yeah.
still really like to date an Irish
Yeah.
girl. Or Scottish, probably even better.
Ooh, Scottish.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. Almost all of the Irish people I've known are like very involved in the local party scene and like very involved, and they're
Mhm.
almost all Irish. And like I've been to those parties, and they're really fun parties when you can understand people.
Yeah.
Some of them is really hard, but it's like there is a primary activity, and that activity is normally like drink.
Yeah.
Right? It's drink and party. And
Yeah,
like,
you got to commit to the lifestyle.
yeah.
It's
And-
a lifestyle. Yeah.
That's a little much for me. Too much alcohol and honestly probably too much socializing as well.
Yeah, and cocaine,
Yeah.
man.
That's why if I was 23.
Yeah, like the number of Irish people I've seen just openly doing cocaine. It's but I don't blame them, man. Like, if you're like that's I won't even say like that's your personality, but like as Irish people are, they're like high energy.
Mhm.
And as I've grown, I found out why. It's cocaine.
Yeah.
That's keeping them going.
Cocaine's pretty big here.
Dude,
People do
it's
cocaine here.
just across. I think that's one of the biggest things I'm happy about of like having podcasts in my life
Mm.
is a
Keeps you off the blow.
yeah, dude. Because anybody who has done cocaine will tell you don't do it.
Yeah.
It is, I think, out of all the drugs out there, one of the worst, most stupid. And if you think like, oh, this might be a good fun time, you should go to like Whistler, and it's like all 19-year-olds high on cocaine, and they just never shut up,
Mhm.
right? You talk a lot, you're more aggressive, you're like king of the world for 10 minutes. And then you're like, oh, dude, now what? And then you're like, okay, I guess I gotta do more.
Yeah, well, I think it can definitely create dependency issues, and like if you're the type of person who's already drawn to that environment,
Mhm.
and then you add that into it, that can definitely be harmful.
Yeah.
Or if you're someone who like needs that to get through those interactions in
Yeah.
those environments, and then you end up meeting people who are like involved in those, and so they're constantly getting you out, and it's like, all right, well, I'll just go do some blow. I think like that can
Yeah.
be really dangerous.
Mm.
If often someone might have like it left over, and then they're doing it at their house, and then it just trickles out of control, and then I think like. But I think drugs in general, bar like highly addictive ones like meth or like heroin, like I think more so like leaning towards hallucinogenics, and then,
But it's cocaine
Healthy
has made
uses.
its way like that it's really normalized, and you don't get to know it unless you actually, like, you grow up. And especially out here in Vancouver, we're so surprised in the food and beverage industry. It's
Mm.
crazy out there. You go to any
Mhm.
nightclub, everybody's in the
Mhm.
washroom. And
You always hear someone in the next stall
yeah,
just
right.
fucking yeah.
And they done done. It's like you've
Yeah.
seen so many movies, you know that, oh, if you have stuff on your nose, it's everybody's gonna be like, dude, you just did a
Yeah.
line,
Yeah.
and then just walk out the washroom with a white
Mhm.
nose, and it's like, what?
Yeah. But I think you're right. I think it has become normalized. And for a drug that has so many like tangible negatives and
Hmm.
like potential harms, it's probably more normalized than it should be.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think we need to go back to drinking like the good old days.
I wanna cut. I've been having this like internal debate lately, and I just I can see myself getting to a point in my life where I just like don't want alcohol at all. Like especially after the
Yeah,
last few years where I was like, yeah, I had grown into liking alcohol more, and then also it's great. Like
yeah,
I love a good night with some friends drinking alcohol, but I think there was a shift as like I started putting a lot more focus on like health habits and also I think as biologically it's a lot harder to fight off a hangover.
yeah,
And but I just like it's kind of like weed for me in the sense where it's just this isn't fun anymore. Like I
yeah.
don't get it. There's no benefit from here. Like I don't even enjoy. Like I don't. I can't remember a time really in the last like year where I've been drinking any night and during the night it made me feel good. Right, like it used
Mm,
to be, you get 3 beers and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm
yeah,
socializing. I'm super fucking involved, and then I would normally drink responsibly enough so that I'm not hungover the next day. But I can't think of a time that I've gone drinking over the last year. And we were in Vegas recently, and they're giving us drinks. I'm like, there wasn't a single time where I was like, I'm feeling good because of alcohol right now.
mm,
So I can see a point in my life future where it's like I don't want alcohol in my life,
yeah.
or if
I
I
mean,
do, it's rare.
there's nothing like good that comes from it,
Well,
right?
there can be some fun nights that can come out
Now,
of it.
now
Some
that being said, yeah, agreed. Like, there is obviously that aspect of like, oh, it's nice to let loose, relax, and the main thing I think that comes into is just balance,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
No matter what there is, I think even for people like who like to do, like, say, hard drugs or alcohol, they've that's a choice they've made.
Mhm.
And I think each choice, comes with like an cost of like, oh, if I do this, I can't do the other thing. And also consequences like, oh, if I go get high on meth and I go like try and rob a lady, there's a huge chance I get arrested and shot down, right?
Yeah.
Now, personally, I don't think I have a lot of sympathy for this guy who's choosing to do meth.
Mm.
But again, I'm not even thinking about like, oh, this guy shouldn't do meth. I think everybody should have the option to choose what they want to do,
Mhm.
but then you have consequences. And a lot of the times I feel the same about like drinking or even work, and it transfers into like not only negatives but also positive things, like, say, working out or
Mhm.
eating healthy, or when people are too fixated on just like their career and not
Mhm.
on their personal life. So I think everything has this like balance, that too much of everything will kind of lead things into chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. Balance and proportion and the Karate Kid. Too much good stuff is bad stuff. Yeah, I think balance is really important.
Dude,
Um,
do you like Karate Kid?
yeah.
Dude, I think, no, not Karate. Yeah, I
We
think
should
it
do
is.
the Jaden Smith Karate Kid.
I'd be so down.
Yeah.
But there is the actor. I think they're shooting like a new season. No, I think it's Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
New season for Cobra Kai, and one of the actors. I was watching a video. Was like being detained for biting a woman on set.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. He's like 80 years old, and I was just watching this. lady like yell at him, and apparently he's like, "Oh, I thought I was just being like friendly, and I didn't know that it's like too harsh of a bite." And the cop was like, "Dude, you can't bite. That's a felony. Like, she can't press charges." And she was like, "I am, and you should have respect on yourself because you're like 80 years old
That's crazy.
and you're biting me."
Have you seen the video of Joe Biden biting the baby's foot?
No.
It's the best photo. It was in the middle of like their presidential campaign, especially when like people were really starting to get on him for being like old and senile, and there's
Yeah.
just like a woman holding her baby, and he's got this like crazed look on his face, and he's got a baby's foot. Yeah. It's as good as you can imagine. I'll show you after the podcast. It's
Oh,
fucking ridiculous.
Dude. I think that's my favorite thing about the internet. Things are just there always. You can always go back in reminiscence of like good memories and good moments.
And a lot of bad ones.
And a lot of bad ones.
So I ask me about my night last night, Sparsh.
How was
Ask me how
your
my night went last night.
Yeah, tell me
Yeah.
about your night.
This is how my night went. I work all goddamn day.
Loser.
I work all day. You know, I was really in it. You know how you think of like a married couple, right?
Yeah.
A tired one. And just thinking of the quote, I work all day and I have to come home to this shit.
Yeah.
So I work all day yesterday. I go to the gym. I come home tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to sit down and watch 2.5 hours of a shitty Keanu Reeves movie. So fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck your recommendation.
Oh.
Because yesterday, you want to know how my day was? I worked all day. And then I had to watch that shitty movie. And I
Dude.
knew it going into it, too.
Dude, I think you're stupid or something.
Don't tell me you enjoyed this movie.
Dude, okay.
Don't tell me you enjoyed
Oh,
this
100%.
movie.
Yeah.
No, fuck you.
This is one of the best movies
No.
out there. To the point where this is
We gotta stop this podcast.
where
This isn't healthy for me.
this is one of the
Ugh.
few movies where Rotten Tomatoes
No.
came out and said that they were wrong about their score on the movie.
No.
Right? It is
No.
that good of a movie.
No, okay.
Okay, first of all, I know going into this movie you would probably not be the happiest because of your keen love for Keanu
Hate him.
Reeves.
Hate him.
Let's unpack this. Where does that hate
Can
for
we pack it in a box and throw it at the bottom of the ocean?
Yeah,
And
but
pack it with the spear of destiny where no one else will ever find it for the rest of
well, somebody
time?
will, like you know. But where's your hate for Keanu Reeves from?
Okay,
Like,
so
he's the nicest guy ever.
so look, first of all, I don't know him. Second of all, everything I've heard about the guy is
Mhm.
very positive, and you know,
Yeah.
I think it's very low key, and you know, he gives he's just a normal guy. It sounds like he's polite, he kind,
Yeah.
takes the subway and he gives his seat up for women, and fucking awesome. And we need more of those people,
Mm-hmm.
right? Great, that just project human decency. So, but as an actor, so why I hate John Wick? I can't. It just
Okay.
he has one emotion.
Yeah.
That's his face.
Yeah.
And I just hated that movie because they killed my dog, so I'm gonna go shoot a bunch of people in the face. And it just like
Yeah.
I could not get behind that. And I've fallen asleep to the Matrix like 8 times. And I just you know how some people hate Nick Cage?
Mm-hmm.
Keanu Reeves is like my Nick Cage. You know, where I love Nick Cage, but
Yeah.
everyone hates him. Everyone loves Keanu Reeves, but I can't stand the fucking guy. I can't stand watching movies with him. And I wanted to do this movie because I wanted to give him a legitimate chance. The only two times I've really tried to sit through it were John Wick, and I couldn't fucking tolerate the movie, so I turned it off. And The Matrix, which I try again, but I just can't get behind it because it's like it's a movie I should love, and then I'm watching him as the protagonist, and it's just I can't relate to the character. I can't get invested. And then I watched this movie.
Okay, I want to hear this because this
And
is really fun, great.
First of all, the character's just such a dick. And
it's John Constantine, asshole.
it's John Constantine, comma, asshole.
Yeah.
You know, I just and so. But the writing was horrible, and so
What?
I can't hold that against. The writing was horrible. I wish I had my notes here because there were
Yeah.
so many. There were like a number of times where it was like, after about 37 minutes, there was, I think it was a scene with Gabriel, who she does a great job in it. By the
Mhm.
way, I was like, oh fuck, it's a timekeeper, and I just
Ah.
watched Avengers, so, but it was like. There was one quote where it's like, I want to stop watching this movie now. Like
Yeah.
this is very rarely do I turn off a movie, and this
Yeah.
is one where it was like I was 15 minutes in, I already knew this was gonna suck. Then I got 25 minutes in, and I'm like, and then I got 35 minutes in, and I'm like, okay, I want this to be over now. And so
That's cool.
I did not enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
And the last thing I will say, and just for fucking him as an actor, like oh. So the act the
devil's
character.
right there.
You know, we were at a jobs fair today, and we saw a lot of people who like clearly needed jobs, but they were on the spectrum, right? And so right there, I had a touch of the tism, right? But the character was written to be an asshole, fine, and unlikable, and so Keanu Reeves succeeded in that, good. But who that smokes 30 cigarettes a day, flicks his Zippo every time they open their fucking Zippo? I mean, everything he did in that role was so exaggerated. It was so forced. I hated every moment he was on the fucking screen.
So I, first of all, I agree with everything you say, right? Because only for the reason I think when it comes to movies, your judgment is yours. Maybe super incorrect, but it's yours. But that's very interesting because for me, I had quite the opposite impact. Love Matrix, awake very attentively watching it. Love John Wick. All he has is one emotion: kill, kill, kill.
Yeah.
Right? This movie, he's the typical asshole, but he's not really an asshole. He's just somebody who decides to kill
Be an
himself.
asshole?
No, he's somebody who decides to kill himself. When he kills himself, he realizes that, oh, there is like, this thing that I've been in like visioning of like dead people on the bus and everything is a true thing. And the penalty for suicide, and I don't know how.
As you go to hell, yeah.
Right? I don't know how.
That's the ultimate sin.
Like
the cardinal sin.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the scripture of like Christianity.
If you commit
Which-
suicide,
like-
you go to hell.
Yeah, which okay, so yeah, cool, that makes sense. Now that is factual in the story as well. Now he goes to hell, but the devil is like, no, right? And then he's brought back to life, and because he's brought back to life and knows that now no matter what happens, my place is in hell when I die. He's trying to buy redemption to go into heaven, right? And all of that is just by doing these exorcism, removing the ghost out of the lady, out of little Asian children, right? He's doing there. He's in LA.
Yeah, he was
right?
in LA, yeah.
Doing his boutique thing with, by the way, Shia LaBeouf.
Love it. Great. So happy with that. Even though he was the same exact character as in iRobot,
dude,
he was the same fucking person.
that is literally what I thought, and I was literally thinking. Right now, everybody's really gaga about Timothée Chalamet.
They're like the same, yeah. Go
No,
on with what you were gonna say.
and I only started thinking a little more about Timothy because we spoke about Timothy, and I was like, I love him, but I don't
Yeah.
enjoy his movies, and I've
Yeah.
been meaning to try Dune again.
Uh-huh.
But recently he was on this like Vanity interview, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not sure if I want to continue working in." Oh no, he said, "I am 100% inclined towards working in films.
Hmm.
I don't want to work in like ballet and theater because these are like, people don't really care about those arts enough,
Hmm.
right? I don't even want to pick on into like what that means and who's right, who's wrong. I don't care. But when
I've got
I
opinions.
saw, huh?
I've got opinions.
I'd love to hear that. But when I saw this movie, dude, how famous Shia LaBeouf was when he did iRobot.
Hmm.
He was already a child actor,
Hmm.
right? He used to do like he used to go to like the comedy store in LA
Hmm.
with his dad, and he used to like meet like people out there. He was really hanging out with people above his age, so he grew up in that environment.
Mhm.
And then as a child, he found a lot of success,
Mhm.
right? And recently had his interview, and it was really interesting to see because obviously he's not doing the best. Shia LaBeouf, we have all
He should just figure out what he wants to do and just do it.
yeah, pretty much. But just in comparison of looking at the movie Shia LaBeouf is doing, even not as the main character or a supporting character, but just as a kid who shows up in the movie to do Constantine, where his role is absolutely amazing, and
Yeah.
iRobot,
Yeah.
and Transformers.
Yeah.
Right, three of the biggest franchises, and if you really,
Did Constantine have sequels?
no, they're making one now.
Ugh.
And there was a deleted
Better not have Keanu
scene.
Reeves.
It
Sorry,
is gonna
go
have
on.
Keanu Reeves, obviously.
Just make Shia LaBeouf the fucking protagonist. Go on.
So there is a
interrupting.
deleted scene in the first movie where Shia LaBeouf actually, because he dies in this one,
Oh, he does die in this. Yeah.
right? He gets killed by Gabrielle,
Gabriel, yeah.
and there's this whole deleted scene where he actually rises and becomes an angel.
Oh, cool.
And I think that would have been cool, or maybe that comes back around. But my biggest thing is I'm really intrigued that you don't like Keanu Reeves because it's very understandable,
Fuck Keanu Reeves.
right? Not having an actor, but I'm sure that ruins your whole perspective on that movie.
So, okay, look. Here's I will allow weight to that because that's fair.
Yeah.
I will respond to that in two ways. First of all, this has like a 24, 29 on Rotten Tomatoes.
What? No.
Yeah.
This has like 44 and 76.
No, it had like a 24, 29.
No,
or was it the other? Was
46
it the other
and
movie?
72.
What? What was the other movie you recommended? 500?
Frankenstein. That had a 96.
No.
on Rotten
It was.
Tomatoes.
You gave me one other in the group of three.
The day the earth stood still.
Oh yeah, that had like a 22, 29.
Yeah.
Okay, so wow, this had a what? 45, 76?
45, 76. Yeah, and this is why I say
Okay,
fuck
okay,
you
but-
guys
but-
who
but-
listen to Rotten Tomatoes and make
No, it
their
should have
life...
had a 24, 29.
No,
Fuck you.
That means you're wrong.
So I will say I went into this
thinking it's
expecting
24.
it to suck. So
Yeah.
I was not, but I did also equally go into this wanting to change my mind about Keanu Reeves.
Mm.
And 4 minutes in, I decided
fair.
that was not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because, oh God, I wish I had my notes here because there were just so many things so constantly throughout this entire fucking movie. Every fucking scene was painful to watch. It was like,
But
by the time
in
we
what
were 40
sense?
minutes in, I had 50 fucking negative things to say. I watched this entire movie. I did not find one redeeming comment except for 3 moments in this movie. I smirked, but I didn't care enough to pause the film to write something positive about it because I was so unhappy about it.
But he paused and wrote negative.
Yeah, because he deserved some effort, and then I just was mad. But I fell asleep for like 4 minutes, and it was only 4 minutes, and I woke up to him strangling her in the bathtub. And
Yeah.
4 minutes before this, they were just like totally chilling in the apartment, or the other guy in the basement just died. And then next thing I know, he's killing her, and I didn't care enough to figure out why. I didn't want to give it another 4 minutes of my life. This
do you
fucking
know
film.
what happens in the movie?
Yeah. I pieced that
Okay.
part to piece together because I was only like asleep for
Okay,
4 minutes.
because I do want to break this down because I understand you not liking the movie because of like,
Everything.
sure, everything, right? Or like, but I can't argue that, oh, you don't like a character or you don't like a specific thing about the movie, but I will very gladly discuss. Actually, no, I will argue about why this movie is so awesome, right?
It's gonna be a short conversation.
Yeah, because
I want to hear those points.
yeah, because I want to know what are the specific things that you found like, oh, this was a misconnect for me, and this is why.
So there were, you know how I get really fucking. So for one was his acting and
Mhm.
like just the behavior and like a really just dislikable protagonist,
Yeah.
right? And they were also trying to like force a bit of a romance in there, but they always do that, and they didn't actually force the romance by the end of it. But I get really mad about continuity errors and things that just don't line up, or things
Yeah.
that felt like lazy, or they didn't think it through. It was like, I bitched about Tenet being visible in the middle of these battles happening. They do the
100%.
same thing in this movie,
Yeah.
right? And like, or being in this Chinese apartment at the very start of the movie, right? And everyone can understand perfect English, right? Everyone can understand what he's asking for and his demands. It's like it's just like, but they're all speaking Mandarin to each other, and there's no explanation of who he is, why he's there. There are no reactions. So like from the very start of the movie, it's not doing well, right? And then I had a gripe with like a tangible, observable issue with like every single fucking scene in the movie.
Hmm.
Every single different place they were, I found another one of these things. We've done a number of reviews on movies where there are a lot of these things, a handful of these things, very little of these
Yeah.
things. This movie had countless things. Now,
Yeah.
that might have been because I was really looking for them, because I
Mhm.
was unhappy with the movie. But there were no redeemable, like I didn't find anything redeemable balancing that out either. And how many movies have we done where I go on these bitch fests
Yeah.
and I end up with something positive
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck, and I just could not.
Yeah. You're
with
really
this
the
movie.
devil today.
I hated the fucking. I worked all day, and I had to come home to this shit. Oh, so you make your case.
Okay, so my first case is this is a movie from 2005.
Okay, holds up.
The visual of the movie, the basic graphics of the movie are exactly I want to say, the, the filter, the gradient of the film, or I don't know the best way to describe it, but when you look at a movie and it doesn't feel like everything is popping out,
Yeah.
but it just feels natural.
Mm.
Like when I see Constantine, I feel like this is taking place in regular human life.
Mm.
Right? So that is one of my favorite things that I loved about this movie and made me appreciate it way more because I haven't seen it in over 6 years.
Oh, you'd seen it before?
Huh?
You'd seen it before.
So many times.
No.
As a kid,
Ugh.
I love this movie.
Ugh.
It is also I love Keanu Reeves. I love all his movies from Speed, from this,
Which is
from
Speed?
oh, it's him and I think it's William Dafoe where he's like on a bus with I want to say Sandra Bullock, and they get on a bus and there's William Dafoe maybe I'm not sure plants a bomb on the bus and the bus is going the whole time. I think that's the first part, yeah. And the second part, he's on a ship. But you have that, and then obviously The Matrix,
Mm-hmm.
and just one of those actors that I don't really see him or know about him. He just sticks to his own.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, he's working on a documentary on F1. Nobody knows, right? He keeps to himself, and he's very humble,
Yeah.
very kind, but more than ever, he's very relatable. He has that face of a person, and I think it's part like
I don't
Canadian.
find that to be the case at all. His face he looks dumb.
Yeah.
He has no emotion.
But
He looks
exactly,
completely fucking worn out.
but that's what makes him human. He has that like, exhausted, and we're all exhausted in our lives, right?
No, I don't
No?
agree with that last
That-
part.
that's
We
okay.
can all we're all exhausted, but I don't think I
Yeah.
don't resonate with
Hey.
dumb and strung out face.
That's okay. For me, I think his face is totally fine. Very natural on the screen. Also his acting, especially in a movie like John Wick. I know a lot of people think it's like easy to do all those stunts,
That I don't think.
right?
That I'm sure it's not.
While keeping and acting, and yeah, of course, while going through this movie from John Wick 1, 2, 3, he said fewer and fewer dialogues in all of his movies. And
That's
so,
one good thing about him.
yeah, but
I'm being
Sure.
a dick.
yeah, but that's fine. I mean, if that is what you're doing, that's okay. But if you're really making an argument, because yeah, there are so many actors that I watch, especially actors these days. When I watch, I look at them and I'm like, oh, dude, I don't enjoy his acting or presence on the screen at all, and that's totally fair. What I'm saying is, I like John Wick, and I like Keanu Reeves acting in most of his movies. I don't think I've seen a bad movie. Have you seen The
You
Devil Wears
watched
Prada?
this, right?
Huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
so.
why I say I have never seen a bad movie.
Have I
Yeah.
seen Devil Wears Prada?
Yeah.
I almost watched it like a month ago. I
Yeah.
considered it. I haven't seen it. He's in that?
Yeah, he's
that?
the mean guy. And it's
Was he a love interest or something? Or is he a designer?
No, The Devil's Wear Prada is about how for like profits or personal gain you sacrifice immorality.
Hmm.
And it's a lot like philosophical movie rather than just like
Isn't that with Anne Hathaway and Martha Stewart? And she.
I don't
goes
know.
to-
I've not seen it myself
Okay,
either.
yeah.
But I know Keanu Reeves in it, and he's got like a really powerful monologue. But just beyond that, in this movie itself, first of all, he's playing a comic book character. Constantine is a
Is it?
DC Comics
Oh,
character,
really?
and
Oh, man.
this whole like Blade of Trinity has shown up in like the Arrow TV show and a bunch of places,
No
and so
kidding,
it's
eh?
like a running item. Obviously, those
yeah.
shows came out after this one, so
Mm.
it's not at all connected.
But it's a recurring theme.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of historical movies, whenever they go back to history and they talk about, especially like Jesus and devil, right? They
Yeah,
often touch on these things,
Yeah,
right? Like Adam, Eve, Gabriel, and somebody's good, somebody's bad, and there's like a morality
But I
in
meant
question.
I meant like the particular like symbols that they used specifically being recurring themes, like the Spear of Destiny or
Yeah, so in DC it
yeah,
is, but also in a lot of movies they have like the spirit of the Blade of Destiny.
Is it Blade of what is it?
I think it's
I thought
Blade of
Blade of
Destiny.
Destiny.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like a holy thing that was used to kill Jesus.
Yeah, the one
right?
that stabbed him in the
that
ribs.
Stabbed him.
Yeah.
And
What was that joke I told earlier? Oh, you said, yeah, no, man, some of my favorite role models are in hell. I'm like, Jesus.
Jesus, yeah, pretty much. And what this movie does is, first of all, take a topic as interesting as religious scripture, right?
Theology. Yeah.
Theology, and it's never easy to make a movie about these things, right? You're always gonna have.
Well, they have a lot of source material, but there's going to be a lot of people who, you're going to piss someone
piss
off.
somebody off.
It's like time travel.
Yeah, exactly, right? Somebody comes like, oh no, this is not the way you do it.
Yeah, you've
Right?
seen Angels and Demons with with
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. No, not Tom Cruise.
No.
Tom Hanks. And it's like
it's like Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, Da Vinci Code. And
it's
Angels
the
and
same.
Demons was the follow-up. Yeah,
but they're the
Da
same
Vinci Code
types,
is what I meant.
right?
Yeah. Go on.
But first of all, the storyline from this movie is really good. You have the devil who has a son
Mm-hmm.
who's trying to come to Earth.
Yeah, I liked that. I
Right.
liked that idea.
He cannot come to Earth without help. He needs three things. You need the blade, and you need divine help, and you need a body.
Well, the divine help was the blood on the spear. No.
No.
What was the
Divine help
Oh,
was
Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Okay.
Gabriel is the divine help. And what I remember from I think Gabriel is unhappy that God loves humans unconditionally, while does not care enough for Gabriel, who is an angel.
Yeah. All we have to do to get into the kingdom of heaven is like repent our sins or something like that.
Yeah, right.
And ask for forgiveness. Yeah.
And so that's what Gabriel is upset about, and that's why they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go and help Mamur or whatever the devil's son is."
Yeah.
Right?
Morian or whatever the fuck.
Morian.
Yeah,
Now,
I didn't care enough to pay attention.
because I'll tell you why, and I think one of the things that movies miss out these days is these like small things that don't go appreciated that happens in like movies like this, just from like a filming aspect. What was the director's name? Francis Lawrence.
Oh, by the way, I looked at his movies. I love every one of his movies.
Yeah.
And he did like I Am Legend. He did the Hunger Games movies.
Yeah.
I was blown away.
Yeah, and this was his debut film. So
debut film, yeah.
So
He
to
just
imagine that he would have gotten more money to go ahead and make more movies probably means that he did a great job with this movie. Right? That's how logic goes. Right? And you're a fan of logic, so that's logical. Secondly, each scene in this movie, and this is something you like in movies, is built on the next scene, where if you remove one scene, the following scene doesn't happen.
So I had no problem with. I had no problem with the story itself. Actually, like thinking about it and like trying to be kind of practical in my analysis. Like I didn't have a problem with the story. I didn't have a problem with the directing or the presentation of it.
Yeah.
I didn't pay too much attention to how is he shooting it.
Yeah.
I liked your comment about the you felt like you were there. There were a couple scenes that I didn't feel that, like when all the demons were coming after them and like and they were on Broadway. I caught the name Broadway in the background. I'm like, you seriously telling me there's not a single other person on that street? So I was a little like, I don't know. But it also felt like very much like a set. But I thought that was a really unique comment. I like that. Graphically, and for 2005, I actually think the movie does quite hold up for 2005. So when you said that, it felt the same. I just really hated the acting and the writing. I couldn't tolerate the fucking dialogue. It was so... I wasn't with you, but it was just horrifically bad. like
But
painfully so.
was it like it wasn't coherent? It wasn't like made sense. It was forced.
It was just it was forced, and then it was poorly executed. And we've had this conversation: is it bad acting or bad writing?
Mhm.
I think this was a combination of the both, right? Like I thought, and these are very strong like roles. So you even have the guy playing the devil at the end,
Yeah.
and like I liked some of the ways he approached that, but I hated the other ways that he approached it and felt overdone. I hated everything about John Constantine was so over the top, everything down to his little mannerisms with the fucking lighter. And then like Balthazar, like one of the lines, again, I wish I had my notes here, but one of the lines I remember where it was like they were talking to Balthazar and he was saying like finger licking good. It was just like, come the fuck on. Like it was such a lame
you do
fucking scene.
But
and
you
the
understand,
execution of it was horrible.
But you understand that to create an environment of a fictional story, that level of exaggeration from the actors is required.
No, yeah, exaggeration is good, but there's a real. So I was thinking, I think there's an art to being an actor that. Look, I'm sure all of these people are infinitely more talented than I am. They know a hell of a lot more about acting than I do. And one thing I do know is bad writing can lead to a bad performance. There's just so much that you can do. And I also think like if you are an actor and you have to play like a really powerful role, if you don't have the time on screen to flush that character out or you don't have much to go on, that can be really challenging. So one of the things I thought about for like the person playing the devil, anytime like someone's given a really iconic role like that, I'm curious of how they're going to approach it. And so what I was thinking almost in Keanu Reeves' defense about how exaggerated everything was, like maybe that's just actually a technical decision he's making. He decides to he gets a sense for who the character is, and he decides he is this kind of like outwardly off-putting, dislikable guy, and so he makes the decision to even make such an innocuous behavior that anyone who smokes like that much would look at and be like, yo, you're such a tool. And so if that's what he was going for, fine, and so I'll allow that. But to your comment of like, if you're gonna have a story that is in and of itself filled with these strong characters, it is exaggerated. Don't the actors have to exaggerate? It's like, no, they need to figure out they can be exaggerated in their mannerisms, but you also have to get a sense of like, I think who the person is that you're portraying. And if the first thing that if all you're trying to do is just be crazy or be weird or be the devil, it's like, Jared Leto's what they said about his method acting when he was the Joker, and how you had how Heath Ledger approached it, and then Jared Leto was just like sending people dead rats in the mail. And I was like, you're just being weird. Like you're not actually, you don't have a sense for it. So kind of what I'm touching on here. And so there were a number of these moments where I was just like, bro, that's a little forced. And I think that maybe because of the writing, that's kind of how they do like how it had to go, but like finger looking good. It just
So that brings me to a question. You've seen the Harry Potter movies, right?
Pardon?
Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
Love them.
Of course.
Right? In the fourth one, Goblet of Fire, right? You have this scene in the beginning where you have the Ministry of Magic's head, son, who's being arrested, Barty Crouch, right? And he does the, right? How does that person playing into that character compare to somebody who's playing in the role of Balthazar?
So that's a very interesting question. And I think it's much harder to play the role of Balthazar because he gets to decide who Marty Crouch is, right? Or he has also a lot of there's a lot of I was going to say he has a lot of source material to go off of, which is the book, which, I mean, if you're, there's a lot of source material.
What was that book? The Bible?
Yeah, exactly. Is that in Spanish?
In Spanish.
Yeah. So,
in every language, dude.
Yeah. So I think but I think he is able to almost like approach it with a little more liberty. And um I haven't actually read those books, so I don't, nor have I read much of the Bible.
Mhm.
So I don't really know like what box he was trying to fit into. Thinking about his performance, Marty Crouch's performance, it's like I thought it was a fine performance.
Yeah.
Now, that might I was never looking at it with an eagle eye because, I was happy with the rest of the film,
Mhm.
so I wasn't pulling everything apart.
Yeah.
And this was just like one more thing to bitch about, and I was already in a fucking mood watching
Yeah.
the rest of the thing, right? So I don't know, but again, I think like there were a lot of these little dialogues where it was just like I kept rolling my fucking eyes. I was just like, come on. Like it was cheesy or corny or forced or over the top, and it
Mhm.
was just so constant in every other scene. And then I've got this so I know I'm kind of just rambling at this point.
No, that's why we do this, right? Because I'm sure a lot of people agree with you, who also feel the same. Because I mean, Rotten Tomatoes, you can see,
Eating out in the comments
right?
now.
But
I'm so mad this had a 76.
yeah, right, not a 24. But I do disagree with the perspective that the writing is not good in this movie.
Hmm.
Because one of my favorite things is just the whole structure of the movie and how it is set up, where you're using this complicated source material of like Jesus and the Lord and the devil and like Lucifer and Balthazar, and then you have this person who has these holy weapons, and this guy who can see the balance between the world, and this one guy who balances everything. And they're all like characters who obviously people have different iterations and meanings. And everybody, like in the books, read Balthazar and everybody imagines this is how he would look like. So first of all, I think that's already a difficult character to portray. Second of all, this movie does something which is really unique, where
Suck.
no, a lot of movies suck, and I have so many that I've seen, and we'll probably watch them too, because I'm a big fan of watching bad movies,
Yeah.
because they allow for conversation that, talks about why we think, they didn't do or are, or we fight for them, like, oh no, they're actually better than what they're perceived as. And one of the things I picked up from this movie was to come up with an idea where you have all these demons and devils, and obviously Balthazar and the son of the devil, and all of them, for some reason, the bad people are the only ones that are playing by the rules, whereas all the good ones, Constantine,
No, they
Midnight.
weren't. The devils were coming down to onto the plane, onto the Earth plane, and they were breaking the rules. And demons were attacking him in the
But
street.
again, who was helping them? It was Gabriel.
Okay.
Right.
Well, actually, in the movie, the only one that was playing by the rules was the black guy who's in
Midnight
Push.
Push, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I have his name. I
What is
really
it?
love him.
Yeah, I do too.
Uh,
I've really enjoyed.
yeah.
He comes. He doesn't.
Jimon Honsu. I think I got it right. Jimon. It starts with a Djimon. Honsu. Hou. And so that was like a really interesting thing, because you see and you expect like, oh, like everybody's bad, and the whole movie he's chasing this, like, oh, why are the demons coming, and he's blaming all the monsters, and he's blaming Lucifer for it. But in reality, it's the good people who are actually doing the harm, right?
That's often the case.
Yeah,
In the world.
but it's not often
People
shown
are
in movies.
proposed to be the good ones,
right?
are.
Most movies, you have like the good person do good things and the bad person do bad things, but this story had this thing intertwined.
No, very
very regularly it's like a crooked cop. It's even I'm reading the last two books I've read. These mystery thrillers. I feel like it's a very common trope to take someone who you leads the audience to believe or suspect is innocent or is the good guy, but then they end up being the bad guy. Like that's one of the most common fucking turnarounds in the world. I feel like
the backstabbing.
now it's not always that all of the good people are bad, and so that I like, right? But no, good guy is actually a bad guy. Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
and bad guy turns out to be a good guy. Right, and John Constantine sacrifices himself at the last minute and gets sent to the kingdom of heaven. Which, by the way, tell me you didn't see that coming 2 minutes into the fucking movie. Like, that's not how that's gonna end.
No,
you didn't see that coming when he first talks to Gabriel in the library, and he's like, "You're fucked." Which, by the way, is the one thing I will say about this movie. I really enjoyed that scene. She's like, she's talking to him and like, you're going to die young because you've smoked 30 cigarettes a day for 15
I wrote that down
years,
too.
and everything you have ever done has been for yourself.
Yeah.
You're fucked. Mint.
Yeah, a lot of people need to hear that.
Amen. Right? Good.
Like, hey,
what's her name?
Huh?
That actor's name? Do you know?
That actor's name? Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna go out of my way to find more films with her because.
Oh, dude, Chronicles of Narnia. She's the queen in the first one. Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, of course.
English actor.
Wonderful actress.
Yeah, I really love the cast too. You have your differences, but I loved obviously Keanu Reeves. I loved Rachel
She's the woman?
Rachel Weisz, yeah. She plays a twin role, which is already pretty cool. Her story.
My sister would never kill herself. You literally just had a dream of her killing herself.
Yeah, but it's really I honestly, like, I get really mesmerized on what you look for in a movie, because the things you pick are just not like, for me, are like not even something that ever crosses my mind. Like, it's a story that is being told, and obviously, she's like, how many people lose their family member are like, oh, this person would have never killed themselves, right?
So,
and then they come to be like, okay,
I was more okay with that. But you know what you said it earlier with, like, this was a movie, the way that it was filmed made me feel like it was filmed in real life, right? It was just, and I really like that what you said, and I think that has already changed the way I'm going to view movies in the future. That's a question I'm going to ask myself when I watch them. But one of the things that I look for is, like, I want it to abide by the rules of reality. So, like, I always can't.
But in fiction.
So, but there's. I'm going to expand on two examples. Did you count how many times she shot her pistol? It was more than 30. I lost count after like 34. When she's in the pool at the end of the movie, and the dude shows up in the pool behind her, and she turns around and she starts shooting him.
Yeah.
She shoots like 30 times. And it's like, ammunition and guns are always something that pisses me off. Or if someone has, like, in Thor, Ragnarok, I think it was, there's the end scene where they're shooting the guns. It was like, I actually quite enjoyed the movie.
But it's M16s and they're not automatic, and sure.
No, but they can be automatic, but they only have 30 bullets, not 257, right?
Yeah.
So whenever I watch a movie, I'm always seeing how many times do they allow someone to, like, shoot a pistol or something, and this was 30. But there's also, more accurately to your point of, like, if I'm gonna watch a movie that's sci-fi or whatever, I have no problem with, like, them choosing to bend the laws of physics, or, let things just fucking appear in the middle of nowhere, like portals or whatever the fuck, or the time travel. Like, fucking cool. What are you going to do with it? But I want people to respond to stimulus in a way that is relatable and believable. One of the classic tropes about, like, a shitty horror movie that needs to force the storyline forward is, like, like someone making the decision to go into the dark basement. It's like, that's not what you do in those moments. You get the fuck out of the house, right? So I really respect a movie that sends them out of the house, but then shit continues to go wrong. Like, you've seen It Follows.
But you for like, you know, for the longest time, as much as it was
Sorry, Billy Joel
bad,
song.
it was required for somebody to make that dumb decision that, okay, I'm still going to go to the basement, even though, because as an audience member it gets you up and being like, oh dude, no, don't go, there's something harm there.
Yeah, but
right?
okay, but so like,
And especially in like fiction, and especially in a movie about Jesus and devil, it's really interesting that your mind goes into thinking, oh, are they behaving as the average human would based on your experience?
well, no. So like, I'll give you two more from the fucking movie. For one is when all of the devils, like, they attack them in the street, right?
Yeah.
I felt her reaction to that. She pukes. It's the sulfur. She's like, what were those? Like, I wanted to pick that, her reaction to that apart. But
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's fine, right? It probably wouldn't have gone exactly like that, but that was tolerable. That wasn't
Yeah.
like. But then there was another one, like when they're back in the hospital room of her sister, and he immediately starts shaking her to like have a dramatic. He gets up behind her and he's in her. What is she telling you to look for? It's like that is not how this would have played out. Right? Or even like another one that pissed me off in that scene was he asks her a question. They're in the pool and he's like, how long has she been here? And then it cuts to them in the room and she says 2 years. It was like so many of these little things, like that is not how this happens. So the way that you're choosing to tell the story is so disconnected from reality. It doesn't matter that it's fiction. It's disconnected from how things work, from how people behave,
But that's
from how.
you're adapting knowledge of real life and understanding of how things work, and you're asking a story to adhere to that.
No. I'm asking human behavior to behave as humans,
But
not
but
behave in a way that forces your story forward or creates dramatic outcome.
but to behave as human is what you qualify as, like, oh, these are the things that human reaction and human behavior and believable reaction and behavior would be.
So, I think we were having a conversation earlier in the night about like why do people behave in the ways that they do, right? So you could be showing me a story about a rapist, or maybe people living in the ghetto, or drug dealers, or whatever the fuck, right?
Sure.
And there can be people who act in ways that I could never possibly imagine or empathize with or relate to.
Yeah.
In situations that are completely fictional, stories that are fictional. But they recognize the dynamic of the scene that they're trying to shoot, and the dynamic between the two characters, and the outcome that they are hoping to get out of whatever interaction they are in, because every interaction is leading to a certain outcome, right? And people make the decisions they do throughout that interaction to get to that outcome. Doesn't always go the way that they want it to, but you can see there's a very clear conscious like cause and effect between the behaviors that they choose to have, right? Or you have something like this forced, what was she trying to tell you? Right? Because they want it to be that dramatic scene, but that's not how the character's relationship was defined. There was no pretense for that. It isn't rational for him to behave that way to get the outcome that he would have hoped to, which is that answer. And so they put it there. So they have it there, but it doesn't make sense. Do you get kind of what I'm touching on? So it really takes me out of the scene where I'm like, but that's not a believable interaction. That's not believable behavior.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go into the basement, right? So you wouldn't yell at her like that. You certainly wouldn't get fucking behind her and start whispering in her ear as the first attempt, that dramatic, that immediately, right after you asked her the first question, when she's in her dead sister's room, I mean, and then she goes to the window and she starts crying, and we used to write messages for each other in invisible ink on the window.
Yeah.
Right? That I almost believed a little bit more.
Really? Because that was one scene I saw, and I was like, dude, Ollie's gonna destroy me on this. And like, he's really gonna be like, this scene. Because that scene, again, I 100% agree that these things are putting you out. And I guess my question is to like every movie watcher is like, how much room do you allow it and just give it like, oh, it is just for the sake of the story and I'm just gonna allow it? Because I agree. I've been in so many positions when I see like somebody talk to each other. Like I'll tell you a good example. I was watching Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah. Obi-Wan Kenobi and the
Star Trek?
Yeah. No, sorry, that's Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Got it.
And so Obi-Wan is like on a dragon and going crazy.
Well, we just pissed off a lot
Other
of people.
As you guys know, I'm a big fan of that. But Obi-Wan Kenobi, the TV show, had this like female antagonist who was like a Jedi, but then her master got killed during the whole Order 66, and then her Jedi master dies, and then she gets trained by the dark side, and now has become an Inquisitor who now hunts Jedis, and is trying to hunt Obi-Wan Kenobi because she thinks Obi-Wan was responsible for Anakin turning into the dark side, blah 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 blah. Also, side note, which I'll get into later, it's about Star Wars, which I love. But
Great.
When I saw her acting in this show, right, it's not that she's a bad actor. Maybe she is. Maybe she's terrible. She got no idea what she's doing. But I don't think she's a bad actor. But just like her performance throughout that show seems dry. Right? It seems disconnected. It doesn't seem like this is not a conversation I have come across, or this is not a way of speaking, I would say. And it just seems kind of out of place to the ear when you're like, dude, what? Right? I often do my best I can to allow any of these things, especially when it's like a sci-fi movie, then I'm giving like 100% freedom of like, oh, I don't like, I know these things are going to be like out of the blue, there's no reason. Like, for example, what you mentioned, when they're out there on the street and all these ghosts come, or he's fighting that thing on the street, it's like a demon thing who's like made out of these insects, right? And he's just been told like, oh, I have cancer, and he's fighting on the road, and then like nobody reacts to it, right?
But you can see them because then the bugs show up on the windshield. So fucking
right. And it's very interesting. And then there's also like ambiguity of like, oh, as an audience member, we're able to see them. You know how in Avatar, the local people, once the protagonist has spent enough time with them, they start speaking English. But mainly the thing is, now you know their language, and now they're speaking the same language, so they speak in English to make it easier for the audience. So the same way, the general public is not able to see the ghosts and beings. And that's what the whole story is, that her sister used to, and she, as the other one, didn't believe in it. Right.
And so they actually explain that phenomenon in the movie. I mentioned the bugs on the windshield because that was a tangible relates to the thing. And then he says something about, I just got attacked in the open. But they also explain that most people can't see that.
Yeah, and that bug scene
and that's fine.
Also, it's like, oh, we as an audience see those bugs on the screen, but maybe the people in the car are not seeing those bugs, and they've not even hit anything.
Yeah, but he slams on the brake, but also Keanu Reeves is in. But I don't pull that that apart.
Yeah.
Why? Because it was rationalized. It makes sense with
Yeah.
the story they're telling.
Yeah.
They play it out correctly.
Cool. That's what I'm saying. Story's fantastic.
But also that fight scene, like that was another one that pissed me off because it's like it was so poorly portrayed. I mean, you're holding him up. They know who each other,
Yeah.
the two of them, and you're holding him up, and you give him a whole 6 seconds to rummage around in his coat to put on brass knuckles and then start beating you. Like, he had a whole fucking hand. His hand wasn't occupied. He didn't need the two of him to pin him down or hold him in a position. No, he was holding him up in the fucking air
Yeah.
with one arm and then takes 2 hits in the face and then lies down on the fucking table. I mean, that was such an unbelievable fight scene.
But first of all, he's not human, right? He's a demigod.
Yeah, so
Right.
Even more of a reason
Right.
he shouldn't fucking given in so easily.
Let me get to it, right? So he's not worried about getting hit at all. He's not worried that anything this guy has can harm me.
Yeah, of course, he knows what he just threw fucking holy water on his face. He knows who this fucking guy is.
Dude, but he's already working with the devil. Like, he's sorted, right? Even in the end, he's like, dude, you promised me you'll give me resurrection, right? So he knows he's good. There isn't anything John can do that can really hurt him. And for him, by the way, their whole idea was not to fight with John. The whole idea was to distract him so they can get the goal, because that's who they needed. Right?
He didn't even know the girl was there at the time.
They did. That's literally what he says.
Then the girl comes up and is like, "Oh, and you brought her right to us."
Do you think he would not know the goal is going to be with
All right.
John? Right. Secondly, John uses a special weapon designed that Balthazar does not expect in that moment to hit him,
Yeah.
right? And that's what not only damages, but it's like, when you see vampires in movies and you put the blinds out and they're in the sun, they immediately turn into dust.
Yeah.
No, nobody's going to decay so quickly and immediately turn into dust, right? Same
Well,
thing
depending, but I'm okay with that because you're allowed to choose, like what you were saying earlier about fictional movies. Like that is a decision that you are allowed to make in
Yeah.
telling that story.
Yeah.
You're allowed to decide those rules. The rules
Yeah.
of that universe. How fast does a vampire decay when it's exposed to sunlight? Some do a subtle burn.
Yeah.
Some turn to dust fucking instantly. Like,
But I'm just saying, why, as an audience member, like, what is the comparison? Like, okay, these are the rules that they've used, and then are you comparing it to like rules of like general logic, general life, or
I'm comparing, like I said earlier, like what is a natural instinctual behavior in that moment. And I'm sorry if you're in the process where you're fighting a demon hunter, right? So for one, you're pinning this guy who's just shot you in the face, mind you, thrown holy water on you. You've acknowledged that he can pose a threat to you, and that's when he turns up his how fiercely he's fighting back. You're holding him up to the fucking wall by his throat, right? Obviously subduing him. You're watching him fiddle around in his jacket. Obviously he's going for something that he thinks is going to be a deterrent towards you, and your behavior is to not respond to that.
but that's like very similar to that angle that you took with Tenet, where like, why are people who would have been seeing this not reacting, and why is their reaction not included in the movie? Right? It's like
it would have been is the point
but
I'm making.
Why?
So okay. So but I'll let me just slightly change it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know a classical movie trope that they always allow, doesn't really piss me off, but it's like, okay, I'm just kind of waiting for it to happen, is when someone's like getting strangled and they're reaching out to the side just looking for something to hit them over the head. I mean, how many times have we seen that, right? And it always happens.
100%.
And you know it's going to happen because they have plot armor, but you know why it's okay? You know why it works? Is because it's out of view of the attacker. They can't see it. The attacker is fully involved in stopping them from being able to fight back in the other ways. They have both of their hands on their throat. Maybe they're
And
holding them
they
down
can't
and
see where the
wrestling
hands
them.
are going,
Well,
reaching
no,
out for
but
things.
they're but they know the way they portray it, or maybe they're putting them in a headlock, right? So they're occupied. Maybe they can't see it. The way they are portraying the scene, there's always a degree of believability as to how the person got themselves out of that situation. One of the things that when I used to watch films with my dad, and he always likes to guess, what's going to happen. And it's like I'm reading, I've been reading, like I said, these 2 books recently, and I'm trying to guess, all right, who's the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
I love the puzzle of it. I'm not great at figuring it out, and a lot of the times it's like, I should have figured that out, right? I will occasionally, even to often, like get there just before, but they're in the process of revealing it, so it's not much of a jump to make, but. One place I find myself getting to in a lot of films that I want to get better at figuring out is when the protagonist is about to die. They're trapped, they're in a really bad situation, they're fucking pinned down, whatever it is, and there's enough unresolved in the movie, so they have to make it out, right? And so I ask myself, now how the fuck are they going to get out of this?
Yeah.
And it's not how is the character going to get out of this. It's how is the director or the writer going to get them out of this? Because they've put them in a very indefensible position. So however they get out of this, for me, has to be believable. And so I'm always really intrigued of like, how are they going to allow this person to survive? I got into you and I got into that bitch fest about Game of Thrones, where it was like, I'm sorry, they're pinned up against the wall by a dozen fucking zombies. You're not just allowed to cut away and then cut back and then be okay. You have to tell me how they get out of that, right? And so when, to be relevant to this film, right, or the scene we're talking about, when someone's in that headlock or someone's getting choked and then they reach out and they hit them, that's to a degree, with a grain of salt, but okay, suspend disbelief, believable. Why? Because the killer was occupied and it was out of view. This was in view, and he was not fully occupied. He had the other hand. And it took like 6 seconds. So again, they had this scene, they played it out to be dramatic for the audience, but it wasn't realistic. And that pisses me off.
Yeah. Because I view it very differently. Yeah. And it's very, very interesting because, and I'm watching that scene. My whole idea is to not look for logic at all. Like I'm just watching that scene for what that scene is and like, oh, this is happening, right? And for me, I'm like, oh, now Balthazar is gonna get it. But then you find out, oh, Balthazar has been already working for somebody else, and they really, they set up that scene really well where she gets out of the car but her necklace is not on her, right? So you already know this is going to come up and she's going to get into trouble. And there's obviously a huge extent, especially like you and I, we love movies, so we watch a lot of movies, and after a certain point, like based on the genre, there's a lot of like predictive like plot line. Oh, like this is gonna happen. Very rarely
like hitting them,
yeah, right. And very rarely it happens like, oh, this is gonna come and like this is different. For me, this movie had that difference thing where it wasn't about the fight or the struggle or anything. It was just a tale of the balance between the good and bad. So when I watched this movie the first time, and I would say like when I was a kid and even now, I don't know anything about the Bible. I don't know anything about the devil
you need Jesus.
or Jesus, right? Big fan, but I don't really know anything about him, right? And it's kind of like a question that comes with religion also. Is like, oh, do you need to like do what I see is believable or not? And when that believable is, there's a disconnect in the believable thing, it's really off-putting and it's really hard to like wrap your head around it. It's kind of the example of like, oh, if you do the worst things possible and then you repent to your sins, you'll be in heaven, right? Which is like
So ridiculous.
ridiculous, right? But
Fucking religion, man.
some people, they're like, okay, cool, I believe in this thing, and then I find happiness and joy in my life because I have this thing to like rely on. Now, the same way when I watch, especially science fiction, and that's I'm not a big fan of like biographies and all to a huge extent, because I think it's like, okay, these already factual things that would have happened in this person's life. You're either gonna get them correctly or do something unique like Foxcatcher did, where it's like, we're not giving you a story about John, we're not giving you a story about the brothers, we're giving you a story about the cold environment of Foxcatcher, right? But that's a real story. So now when I see that film, and I don't know boxing, right? So when I see that wrestling, right? So for me, yeah, they're equivalent, right? So when I see that person and I don't know wrestling, there's very possible this person is like doing the wrong moves, or I don't think this person would get out of here in this position. Or like in the last fight, they switched the in real life it was a black dude and they switched it with like a Russian guy.
Yeah. Or like with F1 we were talking about. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But when you're in that world for just 1.5 hours, I really like to imagine that I know nothing of my own reality or my own experiences, and I'm just gonna experience this tale and this story with the flow and the intention of the guy making it and the people who are acting in it. One thing I loved about this movie was a because of how heavy each of the characters were. To play the devil is played by Peter Stormare, who plays Lucifer, and by the industry, and I think even now, he's considered one of the best representations of devil on screen, which I know makes you believe in the devil.
I would have liked to give him another 20 minutes of the film. I won't necessarily disagree with that. Like I said, I like when I watched it, I liked some of the ways that he did. So, and that was because like in people who normally portray this, they take those directions, and he took both of them. And I thought like, I want to see how that extends over the next 20 minutes. You saw Percy Jackson.
The movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do you remember the devil at the end? Like Mick Jagger looking guy? Is there with Persephone and the really hot black woman, and I don't actually think she's probably Latina.
In the first.
Yeah. And he's just like kind of like a chill dude, and he turns into like the giant, demon for a minute. He's like, "Would you prefer I look like that?" But he's just like kind of a rocker dude with like leather pants, and he's got a British accent, right?
Yeah.
I loved that portrayal of it. Like that's an artistic choice that I think like totally works.
Yeah.
And when you're gonna play a really big role, you've got to make that decision.
Yeah, you gotta,
right?
and you gotta stick to it. Right, you can't second guess yourself. And I think one of my favorite things about his performance was there was no second guessing. He really committed. He so initially the idea for Devil was to be like wearing because first of all, this is like a comic book character that's been turned into like a live action movie. They then also did a TV show that didn't really do really well. They did one season, but
With Keanu Reeves and
no,
everyone? Oh.
no, not Keanu Reeves. But they were like, okay, we're gonna get the devil wearing like black leather, leather jacket, having like a spike collar, right? And I was like, that would have sucked.
Yeah.
This one, my favorite thing was the tar on his
I
feet.
thought that was great.
Right, and it just comes dropping, and also just the idea of him like, okay, I really need help right now and I need attention, so I'm just gonna kill myself because that will immediately ring the bells,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And yeah, and oh, dude, when he goes and smacks Gabriel in the end,
Oh
and he
yeah,
just
great.
fucking
That's pain
sucks.
asshole. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she like
Yeah.
kill me, and he like
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
boom,
yeah.
right? So when an actor does like a role like this, have you seen Hellboy?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Hellboy?
I loved Hellboy.
Right?
I remember I know the Golden Army more because they changed that actor. But I enjoyed
No,
Hellboy.
it is the same actor for the three movies.
No, I think he's different for
No,
Golden
it is
Army.
it is
Are you sure
yeah,
about that?
he had a contract for three movies. Because they didn't really, they wanted to get somebody else and he wanted to do it, but yeah, it was like the same actor who got the role to do three movies back to back.
Did they? Okay, but wait, were there actually 4 Hellboy movie? I know there's been a number of them, but were there like 4 modern Hellboys and they made one, but it flopped, and then they started a 3 Hellboy franchise?
I don't know. I just know like three of them. I don't know
Okay.
about the fourth one.
Okay,
They
'cause
could
I'm
have
pretty
possibly, you know, like reboots happen.
I thought there could have been a different guy who
Yeah.
played Hellboy. Anyway,
Because it's not this guy. It's not, obviously, it's not, what do you call it?
Peter.
Peter
Yeah.
Stormare. It's somebody else. But I was just thinking about Hellboy when I was thinking about this guy, and it's like, you know, these are one of those actors who come on TV shows and here and there, or do a role in a movie like this one, where it's like, oh, this is a really good performance, but are never on the mainstream name.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
don't
They're
get the
never main
recognition,
character,
and
yeah.
you feel like,
Oh,
oh, they're
yeah.
not as big as stars as they should be,
Mhm.
because it's like, oh, every movie I've watched with them has been like, oh,
They're
fantastic.
called character actors.
Character actors. Yeah, they become like typecast.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh,
Yeah.
this is your role. You're gonna be like evil guy.
But some are much more successful than others, and
Mhm.
there are a number of them. I feel like character actors are always like fall into a category of people where like when you see them, you're really happy to see them.
Mhm.
Like it's like how Shia LaBeouf played in the more minor role. I wanted to ask you earlier. Have you seen Holes?
Holes.
Shia LaBeouf.
No.
It's like one of his first, where he goes to like a
I know what Holes is. We had it like as part of our story, I think, in like school somewhere.
reading
where,
curriculum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
dig the
Yeah, yeah,
whole
yeah, yeah, yeah.
grounds and they have, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's like one of those moral stories.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's fun.
to
Fun.
learn.
So, but I liked what you said. You simplified the movie down to like when you view this for you and like the hour and a half that you're getting pulled into this universe,
Mhm.
and like to just kind of let it do what it does, and you simplified it down to like this is really just like between the balance of the good and the evil. I'm like, that's a nice way to go into this movie, and that's a nice way I think to experience this movie. I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to tolerate that concept is through Spider-Verse. Because in Spider-Verse, especially in the second one, you see all of these different Spider-Men, right? Whether it's a horse or a dinosaur or a black and white guy or a fucking dog or a robot or the over-exaggerated Peter Parker,
Yeah.
right? And you kind of just have to eat it. You have to accept it.
Yeah.
And you have to accept where there is or the Lego one, right? You have to accept that is a universe that exists.
Yeah.
And so you have to abide by the rules of that universe. And I think like totally fair. There was but also here's one counter to that though, right? I just watched the Avengers. The thought I had in the middle there was like, okay, but this is like the real world, and then behind the scenes is angels and demons,
Mhm.
right? So they're telling us this is a story of like our universe, but
Yeah.
there's actually this secret thing that we don't know because it's based on our theology
Yeah.
and everything. So I kind of counter that, but also like you take Avengers, and I'm watching Endgame the other day, and I'm seeing all of these superheroes, and then you realize at the end of this story where it started with just Iron Man,
Yeah.
right? And there wasn't all of this extra shit.
Yeah.
Like it was just the normal world.
They almost went out of money before, like Iron Man was the last chip to be like, if we make it, or we're
No
out
kidding,
of business.
Wow, well, that worked out.
Yeah, because the Hulk didn't work
Yeah.
for
No.
people, right? Even
No.
though like people do love, I think more people prefer Edward Norton's Hulk over Mark Ruffalo's
Yeah.
Hulk.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just didn't work. So then they were like, okay, we've got this guy. Damn, he's got history of drugs.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. We don't
Yeah.
know him, but he walked
Yeah.
in, crushed the role.
Yeah. Yeah, and I saw that audition tape. It was
Mhm.
great. And you know what? I ranted you about Mark Ruffalo as Hulk last week, but in watching this, I really liked Mark Ruffalo as Hulk when
Yeah.
he merges his character and he's
Mhm.
just the Hulk.
Yeah.
And I thought he did very good in that
Yeah,
role.
he
but
really humanized the character
yeah,
of Hulk.
the hero. Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought very well. But you had to all of a sudden come to this acceptance of this universe has been created where superheroes are a thing and gods of thunder are a thing and interdimensional beings are a thing and
Yeah.
talking raccoons are a thing. I'm totally fucking cool with it,
Yeah.
right? Because it fits so well into the world. They
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I
So-
can't suspend disbelief.
So I'll give you what changed it for me, right? I was like, I think I was reading somewhere in physics, or like, oh, like if something like, goes really fast and then hits an object, it's going to move that object, and then that object is going to put a force on this object too, right? And I remember a few months ago I had seen like Superman, and I was like a young kid, and I remember watching Superman, and it has like one of the, I think Christopher Reeves movies has this scene, probably all of them have, where he's like flying with Lewis, and then Lewis falls, and then he goes and
Mm.
catches her in his arm. And it's like, physically, if Lewis falls from such a big height to his hand, she's just gonna get squashed,
Yeah.
right? But then it's like, oh,
Gonna
it's,
break her neck.
yeah, right. So it's like Superman, like a evil person, is the person who's making Superman or writing Superman totally not invested. But the bigger thing than that was, if I tried to find relations of this universe that is in front of me, and that's why I love sci-fi so much, because it's very explicitly not an information based world same as mine, right? It's separate, even if it is Earth, but it is not my Earth. My Earth doesn't have Deadpool, right? So those small things told me to create that difference, and the experience of just like, just immersing yourself into like, okay, the reality you show me is the reality that I believe in. What happens is what happened, basically, right? So it's obviously like different things in different movies are there for different people. That's why there are so many movies. And one of the reasons I like this movie was because we don't get movies like this anymore, where it is just like a creative chance for somebody. Like the director, he did his first job, and I want to name the writers too, Kevin Brodbin and Frank Cappello, to come up with the idea that, oh, we're gonna show this scene of like her falling into the pool, also having like a, she's in a mental institution, the sister, with the pool.
Yeah, well, it was a whole hospital. She was on the psychiatric floor,
Yeah.
but sure.
Hospitals with pools.
Yeah, well, there was a rehabilitation swing in the background. If you noticed it, it was a
I
pretty
didn't-
impractically shaped pool,
Pool.
mind you.
Yeah.
It was a cross, okay. I'm fine for the symbolism, but it was very impractically shaped.
Yeah, I was thinking about the
Yeah,
same thing
yeah.
too. I'm like, I get it why you guys would have gotten across, but it's like you're not using the space you have. But I guess it makes more sense now that it is just like a physiotherapy kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like people
yeah.
walk in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but scenes like just from the beginning when he gets the demon out,
Mhm.
uh, just the creativity of like, oh, we're gonna get this mirror on the
I
bed
liked that.
and swing
I
that.
enjoyed that scene.
Second, with every scene with Shia LaBeouf, he's like one of the perfect characters to have in a movie like this that
Mhm.
kind of just grounds the scene, and
Mhm.
it's like, oh, dude. And I don't know, do you feel when did you feel like, oh, he's gonna die?
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah,
Um, I hadn't, but I wasn't surprised that he did.
yeah,
Right? It's like, okay, sure,
yeah.
fine, makes sense. Like if
Just
someone was gonna die, it was gonna be him. So
yeah, just
okay.
with the context of like heaven and hell, I was like, oh, he's gonna go into heaven. He's like the nice guy with Constantine,
Yeah.
right? He's the
I
helper,
can't believe you didn't see John Constantine was gonna go to heaven at the end of the movie.
but he doesn't.
Yeah, he gets accepted into the kingdom of heaven.
No,
He gets accepted by God, and then the devil pulls him back down because I'm
yeah.
going to give you more life on this earth so
And
that
how
you can prove you
and
belong
that's
in
such a
hell.
cool scene because he comes and
Yeah,
flips
I like that. I
the
like
devil,
that.
right? And that's such a smart scene that, oh, like, you know, the devil is like, oh, now you're gonna be with me, and he's like, oh, just wait some, you know,
Yeah, you're gonna
you can
fuck
wait
it
20
up.
seconds.
But then they also say he's not gonna fuck it up because he chooses not to shoot Gabriel. So it's like it's so obvious he's gonna go to fucking heaven. Come on, and then it is just
Yeah, but okay. Do you think because he committed suicide, he's not, he shouldn't go to heaven?
well, that's a religious. I think
That's a rule in the movie. Outside religion, also, that's just a rule in the movie that they have that
well
people.
based on religion. I
Sure.
think like yeah.
Sure,
Uh,
right? But that's a rule that they have that if you die, right? When you
you go to
die,
hell.
you go heaven or hell.
Hmm.
When you suicide,
No.
you go to hell. Now that you've killed yourself, we're gonna go to hell. But Jesus is like, no, dude, you worked hard, you know.
Well,
So
he calls and he asks for help. He committed suicide to stop
but
the
he doesn't call God
Antichrist.
for help. He calls the devil.
No, I think he was calling to
No,
God. He looks up to the sky.
but to the devil.
He says, I know
Where does
you've
the
never
devil
been a
come
big
from?
fan. Well, he knew the devil was going to come collect his soul because they establish earlier in the
Exactly.
movie.
So
There's
so
one
he's not
soul.
looking for God's attention. He's looking
No,
for the devil.
he knew he would get the devil's
because
attention, but he was looking for God's help.
no, he was looking for the devil because it is the devil's son who is coming to earth.
No, you're wrong about that. He was calling to help for. He was asking for help from God. He was asking for help from God.
But
at that
why would he
scene
commit
in the end.
suicide again?
Well, because he knew that the devil
God
was.
would come?
No. So they establish. He knew it would stop time.
No.
He knew it would stop
it
time,
would,
and he knew he would be able
It
to
would call the
get the
devil.
devil to help with that. To stop and fuck with Gabriel. Right.
Not Gabriel. The issue is it's the devil's son. It's the demons that are coming out. Lucifer is managing the demons. It is his realm to manage the demons. So he's not going to come and tell God that demons are coming on earth. He's calling the devil to tell him that it's your son who's bringing demons to earth with the help of Gabriel in that room. And if you don't believe me, you can go check.
So, but I still stand by
I-
I stand by he was calling on help from God. Also because he's about to go face the devil. He knows he's killing
He's
himself.
not
He
facing
doesn't
the
want to go to
devil.
hell.
And
He knew he was about to face the devil. He was killing himself. He knew
Yeah.
the devil. He
To-
knew
to
by
meet the devil,
killing
not the God.
himself, he was going to stop time and pause the interaction to
why?
give because was established when he says when he talks about the first time he died, he died for 2 minutes, but when you die, time stops, so it felt like a lifetime. Take my word for it. That was the interaction they have in the
so
bar.
that is not like that is more for like his time on the other side. Like when he dies, his time on the other side with the demons around.
But the precedent was established that time freezes for him right? So if he
Sure.
knew so
Sure.
they introduced that concept. They also introduced the concept that when he dies again, the devil's going to come and get him, right? So he knew the devil was going to come for him anyway. He wasn't calling for help from the devil.
But he,
The devil doesn't want to help him either because the devil's, and he says
No, the devil
to God,
wants
I
his
know
soul.
you've never been, but he doesn't like John Constantine because he's been killing fucking demons the whole fucking time. So he says to, God, I know you've never been a big fan of mine, but I could use some help right now. And
also,
he looks up to the fucking sky.
and he doesn't hate what do you call him? He doesn't hate Constantine because he is kicking off demons. He hates Constantine because Constantine's soul belonged to him, where he came back to hell because of suicide, but then was brought back.
Okay, either way, he doesn't like fucking Constantine.
Yeah.
But
And that thing,
he looks to the sky. Like
but-
all other things aside,
where does Lucifer come from?
the floor, the
Really?
hell
Really?
below us.
Doesn't he come flying from the sky?
Oh, who do you look? What direction do you look to when you're addressing God?
Dude, everywhere. God is everywhere.
Oh, shut the fuck up! Oh, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done with this segment. Oh my god, I can't. No, I don't. I can't agree with you on that one. I think
That's
you're wrong
fair.
about that.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I think
maybe I
you
am.
are. I do actually just think you're wrong
But
on that interpretation
I
of it.
swear on God,
Yeah.
I am correct.
Agree to disagree. Okay,
Okay.
so I need to know.
If this movie made money,
I want you to guess. Oh, probably for 2005, Keanu Reeves. When did The Matrix come out? Like 98 or something, wasn't it? Early,
Yeah.
right before 2000. Yeah, so it's gonna make
Older.
money. Yeah, fine.
yeah.
People liked it. 76.
Yeah,
Critics
it-
didn't.
it-
But it's a theater movie. It's a theatrical movie as well. So it's like,
Yeah.
that's gonna make money. I don't know how much did they invest into it. 50 mil,
100?
100. What did it make? 180.
100?
Probably more. 220.
300?
Yeah.
300? Let me guess.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Yeah, they put like 7,200 and made like 230.
Yeah.
The movie was I really like the visual, just the color grade, darkening the blacks a lot and saturating them.
Yeah.
Dude, the hell they chose was so nice. The fiery
I didn't love it.
melting
I
smoking.
didn't love it.
Mm.
The smoking was it felt
And it was practical.
it was a little too disorienting, and it felt kind of like the rest of the movie, a little overdone, a little overblown. I liked the demons like following him. But I also just never really understood. Oh god, that was another scene that I hated. I'll talk but I never really understood why the like destroyed cars were there and like why the apocalyptic like earthly landscape. That didn't really make sense to me. Like, why is
Oh.
there a highway with a bunch of broken cars?
Oh, because it is like the idea was that Earth and hell, sorry, heaven and hell exists on the same place.
Yeah, and so it's just a
Right,
mirrored
yeah,
image.
just
Okay, and they
kind
show
of-
that when it's the ambulance. Fine. Bro, he goes and sits in the chair. Why? Tell me. Maybe it was because I fell asleep for 4 minutes in
Yeah.
the movie. But why does him going and sitting in that chair give him a perfect method of tracking the spear since it was found? And he tracks this one guy.
Because it's a mythical chair. For example, when the
No, try again.
no, look, hear me out. When the demons come when they're on that street, right? Why does he burn a random cloth on his hand and all the demons run away?
Well, that's fine. He has a tool or a relic. Why
Right?
does holy water work?
So midnight, who keeps the balance, right? Has a tool that allows people to travel and search for things in the way he does.
Okay, I'll allow
And,
that. I'll allow that. Fine.
he's aware
Fine.
of it,
Sure.
right? And
Okay.
one of my favorite characters in the movie is Midnight.
It's a ridiculous scene.
Mm.
Yeah, I loved the card.
But-
And how about the card on the back of the card?
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Rabbit
Oh,
on a ladder or
Rabbit
whatever
on
it
the-
is. Yeah.
Who's a rat in a dress now?
Yeah. Gotta love Shia
LaBeouf.
Yeah.
But also, like, scenes like when Balthazar fucks up with his buddy, the priest, because he's not wearing his necklace, and then he just gets drowned
Yeah.
by alcohol.
I loved that scene. What a great concept! Like the alcohol won't
Yeah,
come
he's
out, and then it
drinking.
turned out he was drinking it anyway. That was cool. That was cool. I like that. What? But why did he have him take off the necklace at the start of the movie when we first get introduced to his friend? Why does he take his symbol of protection off of him?
So
Put it in his pocket?
I'm pretty sure there's exposition from the comics there. I don't personally know why he does that, but I'm guessing is that he doesn't want him to be like worried about it, because the
Afraid?
first thing he notices is that, oh, when he finds him in the liquor store, is like, oh, he doesn't have his necklace on, and so he's being like attacked. But that's a really interesting question. So yeah, why would he take his right? Because if I worked with scary people, I would
Right?
tattoo that necklace. I'll wear it. I'll wear 6 of them.
And so just from the start of the fucking movie, man,
Yeah,
I
I-
just hated it.
I'm very excited because I think this was one of the what do you call it? Like one of the few movies where there's a huge split on like you don't like it, I
Mhm.
like it, right? It's very similar to Hardcore Henry,
Yeah.
right? Where
But Hardcore Henry was bad for other reasons. I mean, honestly, I think this is one of the worst 3 movies I've ever watched. Like it's really I thoroughly disliked this movie. And it's rare to find a movie I actively don't enjoy, but this is one of them. Yeah.
which is fair, man. That's what the fun is about movies. They're not made like the same movie is not for everyone, and everyone has different taste.
I would have liked to go into it less negative because some of the things that you've said about it, I think like
Yeah.
all right, so you're gonna I think you're 7+.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. What do you give it?
I'm gonna give it I was gonna give it a 8.5, right? But I think I'm gonna stick to an 8. Yeah.
I quit.
Yeah. 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 Too
Give it
good.
an 8.5.
Too good. I mean, suggest some good movies so I can understand your likeness more. You know?
That's the most ridiculous rating. That put a tear in my eye. And an 8.5.
Yeah.
Look,
Because for me, if I look at it, 2 hours, engrossed in the story, love the plot, love the premise, love the directing, love the acting, love the set design, love the whole effects, love the color. There isn't anything from the movie I take apart, minus 1 or 2 instances where I'm like, oh, why did this happen? We didn't have exposition for this. But boo-hoo, you don't need to be explained everything. It's called like, for me, it's like, okay, if I don't know why this happened, fine. I'll probably think about it later on.
I'm
But-
okay with exposition gaps.
Right,
sure.
but in that moment, I'm like, cool, adios. I'm just gonna move on and go with the story. And the story-wise, especially just like how everything develops, doing sick-ass scenes, like he does the chair with the cat. That's fucking
That was cool.
awesome. Coming up with the idea that, oh, we're gonna have this actor like put his shoes in water and then stare at this cat, and he's gonna transpond to the
Fine.
underworld. Dude,
Because okay, I
Th-
guess.
that
I'm fine with that.
that bathtub scene where he's with the detective and helping her
That's
go.
where I fell asleep.
Dude, that is one of the best cinema scenes I've ever seen, because you see her go down with a lot of trust in Constantine, and then she
Is
goes
that what happens?
she goes into the
Yeah,
water.
what happens going into that scene?
Right,
He's like,
so-
we need to do this, or
No, so
What?
the whole idea is like how he traveled there while dying,
Yeah.
she has to die to go there,
Yeah.
right? But she's not really dying. They're trying to like kill her.
Yeah,
So there's the
yeah,
thin
yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
And so that scene is
But does she know she has to die?
yeah.
Okay.
And so she asks like, "Oh, how long, and while I know," and he's like, "As long as it takes." So he pushes her down underwater.
yeah.
You see her calm and relax,
Yeah.
and then she's just slowly
And then she
running out
starts
of
to
breath.
drown. Yeah.
And then immediately the way the movie does slow motion, right? That whole scene in the end where the clock is ticking and the blood is flowing from John,
Yeah.
and it just stops and boom,
Yeah.
and then you just see like whoa, and then you see obviously the devil come down.
Uh,
Just very powerful
Yeah.
scenes without having to really give an explanation. One of my biggest things that I don't like in movies these days, I just saw War Machine recently. It's the movie with the same guy who did Reacher.
Yeah, and a big, strong jaw.
Yeah.
I don't like that guy.
Right?
Hit his
too,
face.
too buff. I think Reacher was like a
Yeah.
very specific thing and was fine in it. But I just saw this movie, man, it was just so broken, and I hate that as human beings we're so not like when I see movie like this not get rated well initially by critics, it is a huge sign of creativity dying.
Constantine or War Machine?
Constantine. Like there is somebody who comes
No.
and does
Do
their
it
own thing.
well. The execution was so
But that's your
terrible.
opinion.
But the writing and the acting and the like forced scenes, it just wasn't done well. Like there were I allowed liberties and like make your artistic choices like cool, but there's a degree of efficiency in your craft that can be rated, I think, and making certain decisions. And like one of the reasons why I pick on continuity errors is because it's a lack of attention to detail, and I think that is a is part of your craft, right? Deciding how and when you provide explanation and information to your audience. I think that is part of your craft. Making your scenes believable, your character interactions and their the way they relate to each other believable, and not just having it there so that it pushes your story along, or not just having it there because it's dramatic for the sake of being dramatic. It's like gore for the sake of gore. It's
but then how do you explain closed premises?
What do you mean?
Like, where the idea of that story is to be that hyperbolic or be that exaggerated or be that specific. For example, when you do any action movie, where the cops are in the end surrounded by 50 bad guys and they manage to shoot all of them without getting shot.
I don't like that either.
Right?
Right?
But so you allow that to take away from the film?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it becomes subjective, because that doesn't mean, that's what I'm saying, that doesn't mean that the art is wrong. It is you're searching for something specific, and that this film doesn't have that.
Well, but the specific thing that I'm searching for is a certain adherence to realism.
But I think there is. In a fiction context, as much as they can, sure, but beyond that, then that's your demand and your.
I disagree. I think there are things that you are reasonable to play around with and force through, like the fucking hit over the head or whatever. Even like, bad guys, stormtroopers with terrible aim. It's like sometimes you just gotta fucking eat it, and that's fine. But I think there are other. I think for one, when it should be recognized and it should be respected when someone manages to
Yeah, take an extra step to explain
and
add.
remove all of those
Yeah,
problems,
yeah.
right? Those impurities. I think if you can respect that and that can improve the rating of
Yeah.
something, then a creation with a ton of those
Yeah.
impurities should also be critiqued negatively.
So I'll
on
give
the
you
other side of the
so I'll give you
spectrum.
an example why I asked that question. So in Superman Man of Steel, right?
That's the one that just came out.
No.
Oh,
That's
this
the
is
Superman.
yeah. That back.
It's Henry Cavill,
Yeah,
Man of Steel.
I don't remember the movie at all.
Now, one of the main issues that people had with the movie was that, oh, Superman is supposed to be this like crazy nice character and he's always like protect human beings. Yet Zod comes and then they both fight in Gotham City and the whole city gets destroyed. And what people notice, like, oh, it's like 9/11 level of destruction in the city caused by a superhero. So since then, in movies like now Fantastic Four came out, they specifically had a scene where they're evacuating everybody from that place. Same way in Superman, they're like, oh, we're going to evacuate everybody. And the recent Superman that came out, they had a specific scene that, oh, we're just going to move everybody from the city. Now, for a lot of people, they see like, oh, that's realistic that they removed everybody, otherwise they're all going to die. For me, that is super unrealistic because in any given situation, if you ask people to get away, the efficacy of the way they show people move away
Sure.
is not.
Sure.
But
But also, the one counter to that, because I agree. But if like you're in a world where you have established superheroes, and that superhero is under threat from a very legitimate villain, and then they're telling you evacuate because
Yeah.
shit's about to go down,
Yeah.
I think people probably evacuate in those situations.
but you can't do it so quickly as they show it in
I
the
agree
movies.
with that. I agree with that.
Right?
And so like I would have an equal level of problem with that. And like
Yeah.
I actually think shit should go down.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
did I would question like what was the decision of the character of Superman? Is this something that was unavoidable, or did he not take appropriate precautions as his character should have?
Yeah. So my problem is these are way too deep prerequisites as an audience we've started putting on movies.
No, it should be the requisite of the person telling the story and portraying the character and the behavior accurately.
I
You
disagree.
should be considering that in the same way with Tenet, the way they consider how time and inverted objects, how they need to behave, how they need to fit in the reality, how they need to fit in the universe, how you as an audience need to absorb that. They did that so wonderfully well. And
Yeah.
the attention to detail was so well crafted that even for things like I commented on the way he puts his hand down, like that was well done. But if you tell that same story, but you don't incorporate those things, you don't take those things into consideration, then it is not as well done. It is not as well made of a product. And if you are created, like with what I say about superhero, it's like, what I don't care if the city gets destroyed or the city is evacuated.
Yeah.
But if the city's going to be evacuated, they should have had enough time to allow it to realistically be evacuated. If the city is going to be destroyed, fine, but it shouldn't be destroyed for the sake of a cool fight scene. It should be destroyed because Superman is getting overwhelmed and shit's going down, or it shouldn't get destroyed because of he's not paying attention to the people. Like he should do everything with his power to keep people protected. But if the story is this is actually just a really cool villain, then you should feel the impact of the people's deaths because you know that weighs on Superman too. So but it has to be aligned. And when you're telling the story, you have to take into consideration who is the character, how would they behave in that, and how would they act, and then what makes sense, right? And what I was saying about the scene in the hotel room where he's trying to extract information or get to a certain point, or how would the human dynamic work there? It wouldn't have worked like that. They chose that scene and they chose that behavior because it's dramatic. Is it, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And then they break down, right? Like with any classic mentor, like that was the dynamic. We've seen that countless times, right? But it didn't make sense here. It was injected into this story and it was forced, right? And so that's why I have a problem with it. And so I don't have a problem when things are unrealistic. I have a problem when they're misaligned and they don't add up to the rest of the story, right? And so that's where I get a little chewed, because that takes me out of the experience, right? That's what forces me out when I'm like, but that wouldn't happen, man. Like, you've been telling me about this universe and this world and this character, and you've been trying to get me to believe who they are, and you've been trying to take someone who I do not know anything about. I don't know your universe. It's your job to tell me about it. It's your job to make me believe it, right?
Yeah.
As in telling any story. Am I going to believe you at the end of it, or am I not? And then they do these things, and then I watch them, and I say, but that wouldn't happen. That doesn't make sense. I'm not going to give them the liberty just because it's fictional to say
that's what I'm saying. Like, people should.
But my response to that is, there's a lot of fictional movies that don't have that flaw. And those are better movies, in my opinion.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you have a movie with countless flaws throughout it,
but
I'm going to have a problem with that.
Those flaws are very subjective, because you're choosing to consider them as flaws because they're creating a disparity between what you expect and what you want versus what is.
So when I was going to ask you earlier but do you agree with the point I make? Like, even if it's just something simplistic and like tangible and straightforward, like with the bullets in the gun, like that's a rule that should be adhered to. Like, that's a logic that should be followed.
But again, in that moment, that's not important about how many bullets she's shooting.
No, but it should be. It should be. But if you're showing that scene, give her an extra clip. You can do that. You can do that. You can change
but
that scene.
Then you'll be like, oh, how is she coming out of water? Exactly know where her second clip is, and then she immediately
but that is
reloads
way
while
less
being choked
important.
underwater.
But okay, so figure it the fuck out. It's your job to tell the story, right? But it can be told. But allowing her to shoot 34 times out of a pistol that has a 12
but the
bullet
average
clip or
person
whatever
doesn't fixate that much on how many bullets somebody is firing while being attacked. And that's what I'm saying. Like, because you're creating.
I wouldn't actually agree with that. I think in America, with the amount of fucking gun nuts that are
Dude,
out there,
they don't know
that
how to
probably
use guns.
pisses.
The number of people who play Russian roulette with
how many
semi-automatic.
Call of Duty? Like, you know, a pistol has 9 to 15 bullets if you have an extended whatever.
Sure.
An extended mag.
But then again, like, there's.
But to shoot 34 times with one pistol clip.
But again, taking back to that example that you gave with Thor Ragnarok, right, where he's with an M16. M16s are always
triple shot,
semi-automatic, right, and 30-round mags, or going to 60 have an attachment,
and then
right. But in that moment, it doesn't matter what gun he has, what he's doing. What matters is he's coming in between the people who he was a dick to. And he's protecting them now, and he's making
an
an
LMG, and then the problem is solved.
But then you'll be like, how is he moving so swiftly? How's he gonna jump
the
from the
god
plane?
Of thunder.
Thor isn't shooting with the gun.
Who is shooting?
It is the random bald guy who plays Butcher in The Boys.
Oh yeah. So, but even so, like, then give him a cool.
But that's as a viewer, that's your fault.
No. You can add a 2-second break in the conflict to allow him to reload. You can add a cool scene of him reloading that's a little unrealistic, where he fucking pops it up in the air and then he, whatever. I'm fine with that. But he has to reload. There is a number of bullets in that clip, and it's 30. So when he hits 30, there's no more bullets. You have to abide by that rule. That has to be respected.
But the logic and the purpose of that scene, of that actor, of that writing for that scene is not to accurately represent the use of guns.
They should. Like, and so I'll rephrase the question as this.
Actually, I'll just say this and then you can. I highly appreciate movies, writers, and creators that take additional steps and time to ensure and give us details that tell us that they did think about it, or they'll give an extra step to explain why something happens.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in Tenet, where even the smallest details of when one person is going back, the other person you can see in the back of the
Mm-hmm.
screen going forward. And so a lot of these things are connected together. And when it is done well, it is highly appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
But when there is no reason given for why something happens, there is never in my mind I question, oh, the use of guns, and oh, they use too many. Oh no, if I was gonna stab somebody, I can't block it like this. W- The whole idea of movies, at least for me, is they're not real. And to expect realism from something that is just made up is crazy. And that is why I don't like things like cinema sins, because they've kind of forced the culture where everybody looks for things in a movie and seeks things out to pick out and criticize on. And sure, I mean, like any art, everybody is like, valid for their own opinions, right? Just the way I am, I expect everybody also is valid to have like the choice of like, oh, I like this, I don't. But I think this whole idea that we've had for all these years, and this is why studios struggle so much, because the audience just wants the same shit again and again. And so they keep making the same thing, because every time nowadays when they do like a creative step, everybody comes and pinpoints the most random thing of like, oh, this is not how actually I would have done. Or, oh, maybe if I was driving, I would have turned this way instead of going into the wall. And and so for me, that's what pisses me off, that we've conditioned art so much to something that we expect it to be, that the moment it doesn't meet those expectations, it's it's becomes bad.
Yeah, but I don't and I agree with the sentiments of that. I just think for things like this, it's just like it's lazy for me. It's like especially when things are obvious, right?
Yeah.
Like the reason why I used the gun thing for an example, because that is an obvious thing, right?
Yeah.
It's something people know, especially if you're building a film like it's very straightforward. It's very based in reality, right? Yeah, it's fictional, okay, but this is something we're using based in reality. It's like it's a known thing,
Yeah.
right? So like we're using the Wilhelm scream like unironically, right? I feel like that's lazy filmmaking,
Yeah.
right? And I don't appreciate that, right?
Yeah.
And because I truly love movies, when something like that happens, it does take me out of the movie, right? When I hear a Wilhelm scream, I immediately stop thinking about one of the characters just died, and I
Yeah.
said, they used the Wilhelm scream because what, they didn't record a different scream, or what, they didn't use actual audio. So like that feels like a bad choice.
Yeah.
Giving someone the ability to infinitely shoot a pistol seems like a bad choice to me. That seems like a lazy decision. Why? Because they didn't want to think out. Like your first question was, well, how are they gonna explain how she knew where her clip was? They can figure it the fuck out. She's a cop. She's gonna know whatever the reason is, right? What I said earlier about like you've put your protagonist in this incredibly difficult position. How are you gonna get him out? But you know what? They do it, and most of the time, if not almost every time, I am asking that question because normally they've really tied him up. They've thought it through, and how they get out is normally really clever, and it's very believable. It doesn't matter that it's Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible jumping out of a fucking plane or hanging on when he shouldn't have the strength to do that. I'm just saying, man, that's pretty fucking badass. And you know what? He is the guy who can do it. It's James fucking Bond.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give James Bond liberties, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But the things that transpire need to kind of add up. They need to make sense. They need to be rational. They need to be defensible, right? And when we do our job, or just I think it's probably because of the way that I've lived my life, and my dad's a lawyer, so things have to be you have to be able to explain your position when we're having a conversation with
Yeah.
someone in the street and they're coming up with their explanation of their reason for not doing things. It's like you're finding the fucking holes in their argument or
Mhm.
their position, and then you're talking about those things.
Yeah.
Or when we're making a presentation of information, we do so in a way where we make sure that there aren't really holes. Like, we can back things up. Like,
Yeah.
things can be rationalized or explained. And you know what happens when we find ourselves in a position where we can't, where we don't have an answer for something? What happens? We lose. Why? Because it was a poor quality argument. It does not hold up.
Yeah.
It has flaws. And I find those flaws. And I don't like those flaws.
Which is fair,
I
man.
don't always like those flaws.
Yeah.
So, you gave this an 8.5.
Yeah.
I think that is preposterous. Based on this conversation, I went back and forth between these two numbers. I want to give it a 2,
Nice.
which is bad.
That is.
But
yeah.
I'm going to give it a 4
That's good.
because I think you made some fair points. I think I was looking for the negative a lot. I think, like, I'm never going to watch this movie again.
Yeah.
I would love to watch this movie again without
I
such a
don't think
negative
there
view.
should be a second part. I'll definitely say that.
Yeah, no.
No.
But I wouldn't mind Shia LaBeouf being like a
No.
new, yeah.
Shia
I agree.
LaBeouf had his time. He's gone.
He died, but
Yeah.
but fuck Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Sure,
I
you're
was
a
really
great guy.
intrigued because both of these movies that I suggested, this one and The Day the Earth Held
Stood Still.
stood still, both Keanu Reeves movie, and I was
Is he?
yeah, and I was a little bit hesitant because I know you're not a big fan of Keanu Reeves,
Mm.
so I was like, maybe he won't like this, and that's why I suggested a third option, 500
Mm.
Days of Summer, which is
Which
like a
Joseph
love
Gordon-Levitt
story.
and Zoe Deschanel, right?
Yeah.
I didn't finish that movie, but I remember really enjoying it. I saw the first half of it, but it was a little more like drama than I was in the mood for. But I know I wanted to give Keanu Reeves another shot because I really based my opinion on just 2 of his. But
because I have a huge amount of definitely bias towards this movie. You know, growing up watching this movie multiple times as a child, enjoying it, and then obviously watching it again, I was really excited and went for it. But I 100% agree from where you're coming from, where it is the responsibility for the people who are making the art to do not always you always have to be perfect, but do an honestly good job. Like, make it look like you put an effort into it, right? Like, I've been thinking about that Jared Leto Joker, or even the Joaquin Phoenix, especially the second one.
the
There's
second movie was
there's
terrible.
just
I loved his
Yeah.
first one.
I was just like,
Performance was great.
why? You know, especially when I saw Suicide Squad and Jared Leto as Joker, I was like, why?
But the one of the things about Joker was just like, he's a believable character because it's just like a dude. Or not believable. It's a relatable character, right? He's just a dude with fucking mental health issues who ends up like killing some people on a subway, and like, you know, he represents this like subsect of people, and he kind of becomes a symbol for them, and he just like goes full tilt, and he goes into that, so you can really like see that progression development.
It's the humanizing aspect, and also one of the reasons I like this movie's topic of like you know, the good side, the hell
good and
and
bad,
heaven, right? And it opening up that conversation, because when you have like, you know, characters that or stories that employ human qualities like jealousy, hatred, misfortune, infidelity. These are all things people experience into their day-to-day lives. And now more than ever, I think we've been miserable. So when something like Joker comes out, we're like, dude, I get it. I want to burn everything.
I looked a little real, brother.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. You know what I think this movie would have been for me if I watched it and liked it as a kid? It would have been like Ghost Rider. I think.
Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You love you love Nicolas Cage. I love that. Bro, when
But
you
you see
told
the
me,
parallel between those two films in a way? There's something about the sense and the vibe of them.
I mean, the whole idea of like Jesus and
Yeah, it's
the whole
been
connection is
Helen, yeah,
there,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
He
yeah.
also signs a deal with the devil, and he's facing the devil.
So it's kind of like
Kind
yeah,
of the
yeah,
same.
yeah, yeah.
And bro, when you told me that there are people who don't like Nicolas Cage,
Learn to like Nick Cage, and you know people are gonna say the same to me about Keanu Reeves, but he's just I can't just fucking can't stand him. I have an interesting question for you. How do you refer to yourself as like me, I, us, or we?
Sparsh.
Do you?
No,
Do
no,
you say come on, Sparsh, or like
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
dude, yeah, mostly just dude.
Dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with Mike the other. I would
Very
go on
cool.
I went on a date with this girl a couple times, and I noticed the first time it happened, it like caught my ear, but then it happened a few more times, and it would be like I would make a comment on something like a drink on the beach at the end of the night, whatever it is, and she would go, "Yeah, we like that," and I was like. Anyway, and it comes up, and she was just talking about herself, but she refers to the inner monologue and the inner dialogue that you have. I think we all have an inner voice, and actually, that's not true. I'll speak on that in 1 second. But yeah, Mike, I was talking to Mike, and he's got like 3 people in his head. I know, right? And so he'll refer to himself. There will be like a plural element, like us or we, like us collectively. For me, it's like it's like a me and an I thing. It's like I am my voice in my head, but there's also like a unique individualistic aspect to it. And so, but there's I saw a TED talk. I think the other one was also a TED Talk. One recently was about how much someone is able to imagine a scene or imagine a face or imagine a fictional something, right? Or have a visual memory of things. And some people actually just don't have the ability to do that, to like picture something. But there's also a lot of people who just don't have a very active internal dialogue or an internal voice. So some people have a very quiet mind, which blows my mind because mine is fucking
most
24/7.
people with lower IQs don't have that what do you call it, not like, that's why they're like not overthinkers, because they don't have that second voice of reasoning, and that's why they're like oftentimes like more confident, and usually you'll find them in like jobs like sales and all, because for them the question of like, oh, is this something stupid to say, is never a question that comes through them. They're just like, yeah, dude.